in Fort Smith, perhaps the world.
He has to do to slow down number 5 here in the second half.
Sure, he's all man. We've got to tackle his butt.
ESPN 95.3 and hitthatline.com. ESPN Arkansas weather.
For today, lots of sunshine. It's going to be a hot and sticky day. Our high this afternoon, upper 90s to low 100s. A heat index right around 110 to 113. Partly cloudy, mid to upper 70s tonight. Friday, sunshine. Our high will be into the upper 90s to low 100s. I'm Sally Russell with your forecast on ESPN Arkansas.
The weather is brought to you by Come Get You Some, Arkansas's premier off-road superstore. Call 782-MUD today. KERX Paris Fort Smith. The Bud Light Countdown is on. Arkansas football begins in 11 days. Broadcasting on ESPN Arkansas and streaming on hitthatline.com.
We got a good one tonight. You got a team in here that doesn't respect you.
Live from the Busch Light Studios.
Don't ask me if I'm all right. Joaquin said dominate, and we not doing it.
We're going to go get one and celebrate on somebody else's field.
Matt Jones may take it to the house and the dunk.
Phil said you had very motivational words at halftime.
It's halftime with Phil Olsen and Matt Jones.
From the bottom of my toes to the top of my head. I put my heart up. Let's go, man.
Probably as frustrated as I've been the first half.
Do we believe?
Second half, very happy.
Is vintage Matt Jones.
1, 2, 3. Turn that down,
Call or text on the McClarty Daniel hotline, 877-377-6963. Now, here's Phil Olsen and Matt Jones.
Good morning. Welcome in to your favorite midday radio program here on Halftime. I'm Phil Elson along with Matt Jones and Christian Johnston. Got you for 3 hours here on ESPN Arkansas and hitthatline.com. Going to be a fun show today. I had a great time yesterday with you guys in studio. Everybody showered, so that always helps. I don't know. You didn't even realize until I showed up that I was going to be there in some cases, so it was a good thing. We do shower once a day in most cases, so I'm glad you guys took care of that yesterday. It was fun. We'll do that on like a weekly basis, close to it at least, once the season starts, which, by the way, is next Saturday. Countdown continues, and I've even forgotten how many days it is, but I think it's within, we're down to single digits, so thank goodness for that. Looking forward to getting it going, man. We had our first coaches show yesterday.
We're Matt Jones days away.
Yep, Matt Jones days away. That's right. You got a number 9 for us, Matt?
Tony Parker, Zlatan Ibrahimovic, Olympic Jordan. That's kind of those. It's a big soccer number, you know. It's a number 9 is a big soccer number. It was a fun show yesterday. Then we got to go eat a taco afterwards. It was it was a good day.
You're gonna have a good time today too. Nobody with us, hour number 1. Bob Holt, hour number 2 from the Democrat Gazette. And Gino Bell, former Razorback defensive lineman, member of the Learfield broadcast team, on the sidelines during the game, in the pregame and postgame, along with me and with Rick and with Quinn. I always love talking with Gino, whether it's on or off the air. And we're going to have an on-air conversation with him. Defensive line, that's the position he played, and that's the position that probably gets more talk than anything else on the defensive side, at least in a positive sense. So we'll get Gino's thoughts on the revamped Arkansas defensive line, defense overall, and see what he thinks going into this upcoming season. I'm depressed, though, today. I'm bummed out. I'm not happy. And it's because of a baseball thing. Shohei Ohtani injured again. It is a torn UCL. And going into the free agency season 2, man, this is terrible. Because, I mean, really, I remember getting into this during the trading deadline. You don't know what a guy is worth when nobody's ever done this before, outside of one player in Babe Ruth who was traded for, I guess it was $100,000 in cash,
and
so that the Red Sox owner could finance a Broadway show. Now, all these years later, over 100 years later, we don't really know the value of a player who can do things that nobody else does. It'd be the same in football, Matt. Like if
Troy Polamalu was the quarterback too.
Right. If you had a true two-way player in football, which I try to rack my brain and think of the last time that there really was a true two-way player. And I'm not talking about Dion lining up at wide receiver a couple of times, anything like that. It was part of the sport for all those years, and it's been maybe I can't even think of the last one. I'm sure somebody can text it in, but I have no idea. But we don't know what the value of that kind of player would be. It would be really difficult to assign a dollar figure to somebody that does something that not only does nobody else do now, but nobody's done it in 60 years or maybe even longer. And now it may turn to the point where Ohtani's got to choose. And if you're going to choose when you've got the torn UCL for a second time, and we don't know if he's going to have surgery or not, the fact is, though, he's not going to be pitching anytime soon or in the near future. They've shut him down for the rest of the year. Angels really have nothing to play for. They've put Trout back on the injured list for a wrist injury that seemingly won't heal. And you realize, you realize how much money this costs Ohtani? And the whole point of what I'm saying is, no, we don't know. It's just a whole lot of money.
Well, the Angels lose. The Major League Baseball fans lose. It's hopefully he can get healthy and be. I mean, even if he's an everyday player, he's still worth the price of admission. He'd still be the best right fielder or one of the best right fielders in the league, right?
I guess. I don't know. I mean, you got to be able to throw if you're going to play a position.
He can play first base.
You still have to throw if you're going to play first base.
I'm pretty sure. I mean, Big Papi played it a little bit. I mean, you got to think he could get his arm well enough where he can be an everyday player.
Well, he could choose either league and be a designated hitter and maybe be the best in the game.
And that's all he would do is hit. So he'd go to this all-time playing all over the place to just kicking field goals. Yeah,
exactly.
Yeah, that's crazy.
Yeah, I mean, at that point, you would say, yeah, look at this. It's like look
kind of like having like a Bo Jackson feel to it a little bit. You know, what could have happened, what could have been. That would be the next player I would think. Shohei Ohtani would be like a Bo Jackson.
Bo Jackson's a great way to look at this because when Bo returned from the hip injury and only played baseball, he was just DH. He didn't play the outfield anymore because he couldn't do what he needed to do in order to play the outfield on a daily basis. And he was a great outfielder. How many times have you seen the highlight of him throwing
had a cannon,
dart
could
from
get
the
to
wall
anything,
to the plate
had
on
ball
no hops.
skills.
That's right.
Athlete. I mean, just everything. He was a Galactico. He was a 5-star at everything.
And he was a good designated hitter. But you couldn't help anytime, and I never saw him play live, but I'd watch him on TV all the time. You couldn't help but think, and you had to say the same thing when it came to football, too, with the hip injury. What could have been? What could have been? Now, Bo Jackson maybe would have been a Hall of Famer had he chosen one sport over the other. Maybe he would have been a Hall of Famer even without the hip injury.
Do you think it's just crazy for us to ask Shohei Ohtani or for Bo Jackson to be that high-level athlete? I mean, you see it in high school and even in college, but for professional athletes, the sustainability is just they wear down to it. You got to take some off days. You got to have an off season when you get to that level.
And the signs were there that Ohtani needed some kind of a rest. I mean, even for the last month, 5 weeks, there's been a blister. Then it was, the inability to extend his finger. Then it was arm fatigue. And when it comes to arm fatigue, and if you're the Angels and you're Phil Nevin and you're Minisian, their general manager, and you're like, well, we're going to try to do our absolute best to keep this guy here, why are you even pitching him at that point? I don't know what the conversations would be like, but be like, hey, Shohei, why don't you go just hit? We'll worry about the pitching thing in the offseason when we're talking to you, but we think that being healthy is a more important thing than anything else. And if I'm Shohei Ohtani, I don't know how I would respond to that. I'd think, I'm too used to pitching, but I'd also think to myself, yeah, maybe this might save me $250 million on a contract. I don't know. But I hate what this has done because it's taken the unicorn of sports. This is somebody that does something that nobody does in the world of sports.
Angels should have traded him. They could have got something. They could have got, because I didn't know he had already had a UCL tear. And then now that you're putting all this in perspective, that was what was leading up to the trade deadline. It's like, man, you know it's not sustainable. Something's going to change. You could have traded him and got something for him.
But I still don't know. That was the whole point of what I was thinking of during the trading deadline. It's I don't know, how do you set the market for somebody that no one else has ever done before. How many players do you expect to get in return?
Get a starting pitcher and a everyday hitter, an everyday player.
There's no doubt now they would have much rather gotten something, because they're going to end up getting for him is a first-round draft choice, I think. Because I can't. But this changes the whole equation.
It does. I see how you're bummed. It sucks for baseball. It sucks for the fans. I mean, he's a great talent. He's a generation. Does he still win the MVP? Is he still MVP this year?
I don't know how he can if his team is. I mean, look at that. They had a little bit of a run with him, and now they've kind of stunk with him. I'm not too sure. I don't know who is the American League MVP. Ohtani is the best player, but his team isn't really very good. And then again, you've had plenty of examples throughout the years of guys on bad teams that have still won MVP awards. But I guess I'd be surprised if he doesn't, just because he's been so good at both things. Anyway, and I hate that Trout's injured too. The 5 Angels fans that really care all that much, they can cry in their beers as well. So anyway, that was a little bit of the sports tragedy to get into on the show today. There's a lot of Arkansas football to touch on as well. College football and NFL, and hey, it's football time. You got high schoolers starting tomorrow, man, so we're all fired up about it.
Shohei Ohtani was 3rd in the American League in earned run average and was number 1 in home runs. I mean, get out of here, man.
Well, he's not going to pitch anymore, Matt.
44 homers.
I mean, I don't.
He'll probably still when the season's over. I don't see anybody catching him with 44.
I guess he'll still hit. You know, I mean, it's his right arm. He's a left-handed hitter, so it's not the power arm. It's the kind of the same situation with Bryce Harper last year.
If you can't do any further damage to it, what's the surgery? How long's the rehab? There's some questions you got to ask if you should still hit, because if there's a chance you could still do damage to it, you shut him down completely.
That's right. Well, last year Harper played, I guess it was the second half of the season, just as a DH, to help Philadelphia get to the World Series, but he had the off-season surgery, and that cost him it was at least the first 2 months, maybe 3 months of the regular season this year. Once you go under the knife, it's going to cost you a chunk of next year, and whomever it is that signs Ohtani this offseason has to know that going into it. And then there's the questions of, will he pitch again? Second surgery, if he's got to have it. Will he be anything like the pitcher he was before?
He might stay with the Angels.
One Tommy John surgery, we've seen a lot of guys come back from that and maybe be even stronger a couple years afterwards. 2 Tommy John surgeries, we're talking about something different now. Much different. So I'm bummed out. Baseball guy here, bummed out. Anybody that's a baseball guy, anybody that even anyone that hates the Angels.
You like to see greatness.
Out about it.
You like to see you like to see greatness. You like to see people that are the top 1% of their craft. I mean, he's like you said, a generational talent. You haven't really seen anything before, not in our lifetime.
We need to throw some big names out there, the kind of stuff that you never saw until you saw this person do it. Michael Jordan, Jerry Rice, Wayne Gretzky. Ohtani's on that level. He really is. With the ability to pitch and hit the way he does, he's on their level. But I don't know if he will be any longer. We'll open the McClarty Daniel hotline at 877-377-6963 and remind you can visit McClartyDaniel.com to get a look at their entire inventory. Halftime right back after this.
See, what every long shot come from behind underdog will tell you is this. The other guy may in fact be the favorite. The odds may be stacked against you, fair enough. But what the odds don't know is this isn't a math test. This is a completely different kind of test. One where passion has a funny way of trumping logic.
Listen to every Razorback football game this season right here on ESPN 95.3 and hitthatline.com.
The biggest and best selection of 2023 and 24 Fords is at Harry Robinson's Salisaw Ford. Harry Robinson has a great selection in stock and over 24 new Fords on the way. F-150s, the all-new Broncos, Mach-E Mustangs, and the super popular Ford Maverick. Plus, get financing as low as 0% on a new Ford. And Harry Robinson has never and will never charge over MSRP. The best selection of new Fords is at Harry Robinson's Salisaw Ford, 1 mile south of exit 308 off of I-40 in Salisaw.
Nothing says summer fun like fishing with a Thill bobber with the family. America's favorite floats by Thill are available in a variety of sizes and colors. These premium balsa wood floats are made by the thousands at Pradco in Fort Smith, Arkansas. They are great at detecting the slightest bites by fish and work great in tandem with crickets and redworms. Available at Walmart, Bass Pro Shops, Academy, LureNet.com, and tackle shops everywhere. America's favorite floats by Thill.
The fastest internet you could find in rural Arkansas is from Wave Rural Connect and available now in areas like West Hartford, Gibson Ridge, and Elm Park. Wave Rural Connect is taking orders for Arkansas Valley Electric members on their Hartford substation. Order at signup.waveruralconnect.com or call 1-833-492-8372. Fast internet from a local provider in Ozark. Arkansas Valley Electric and Wave Rural Connect. Changing the communities we serve.
Locally owned Lumber One can handle all of your building needs. They've built their business on having great relationships with everybody from contractors and builders to the everyday build-it-yourself. Lumber One is a full-line door shop to handle all of your door, window, and trim needs. And along with lumber, roofing and drywall products, attic wall and floor insulation is available. Lumber One also does blueprint takeoff with access to design services with estimates available. So go where the pros go. Lumber One, located on Industrial Park Road in Van Buren.
Hardee's 2 for $5 mix and match breakfasts bake goodness into your morning. Pick any 2 handcrafted favorites for only $5. Choose syrupy French toast dips, a made-from-scratch biscuit stacked with sausage and eggs, or a biscuit and gravy. With Hardee's 2 for $5 mix and match breakfasts, you get double the breakfast goodness for just $5. Hardee's, goodness in the making. These items only. Price and participation may vary. Tax not included.
Football season is back, and nothing beats seeing your favorite team live. Not only does Vivid Seats have great deals on great seats, they're the official ticketing partner of ESPN and the only ticket company that rewards you for buying. Catch every pass, every tackle, and every heart-pounding play live and in person. Fan out all season long with tickets from Vivid Seats. To score tickets backed by a 100% buyer guarantee, download the app or visit vividseats.com today. Vivid Seats. Experience it live.
Hey River Valley, this is Caleb DeWitt with Carco Auto Sales. As many of you know, parts of Fort Smith and Van Buren were recently affected by a hailstorm, and our lot was no exception. Our inventory may have received minor hail damage, but with that comes a major discount. Choose from late model cars, trucks, vans, and SUVs, all with thousands off the original price tag. Make the short drive to 2810 Midland Boulevard in Fort Smith or visit us online at www.buyfromcarco.com.
Your home for every Razorback football, basketball, and baseball game. ESPN 95.3.
Hey, Surrey! Hookah chaka, hookah, hookah, hookah chaka, hookah, hookah, hookah chaka, hookah, hookah, hookah chaka, hookah, hookah.
I can't stop this feeling deep inside of me. Girl, you just don't realize what you do to me. When you hold me in your arms so tight, you let me know everything's alright. I'm hooked on a feeling, I'm high on believing that you're in love with me. Lips as sweet as candy, its taste is on my mind. Girl, you got me thirsty for another cup of wine.
Find Halftime on 99.5 in Northwest Arkansas, 95.3 in Fort Smith and the River Valley, 96.3 in Hot Springs and Central Arkansas, 104.3 in Harrison and Mountain Home, and everywhere on hitthatline.com. Join the conversation. Call or text ESPN Arkansas on the McClarty Daniel Hotline, 877-377-6963. Now back to the hosts. Here's Phil Elson and Matt Jones.
Brett Yormark is the commissioner of the Big 12. He's the savior of the Big 12, I think, when it comes down to it, because that league was, man, it felt like they were going to die a couple years ago. Texas, Oklahoma decided to join the SEC. Those were the anchors of that league. But now they've kind of done the killing of the Pac-12 and are in a really good position. And Yormark, he's feeling his oats a little bit. He was at an event yesterday in Lubbock, Texas, talking to Texas Tech fans, and I'll bet you they ate this up.
In addition, candidly, we were able to get Texas and Oklahoma out a year early. That was a big deal for us, and I think all of you, okay? And Coach, I'm not going to put any pressure on you, but I'm going to be in Austin for Thanksgiving, okay? And you better take care of business like you did right here in Lubbock last year.
No pressure, Coach, but you better do exactly what you did last year. This is going to be fun. I've been listening a lot. We have Brian call in all the time. Texas, good football team this year for the Big 12, probably. But all the predictions anybody has dealing with Texas possibly winning the Big 12 or Oklahoma surging back after a very disappointing first year under Brent Venables has absolutely nothing to do with the idea of the conference hates them right now. And for all those years where Texas got the calls in the Southwest Conference and the Big 12, I think they're going to be getting too many calls this year, or at least if it feels like the calls are going against him, every finger in the city of Austin, Texas, and anybody who wears burnt orange will be pointing straight to these comments by Brett Yormark.
So they play, Texas Tech to finish the season. I'm telling you, you look at Texas' schedule, they're favored in every game but maybe one. You know, that Alabama game at Alabama.
Well, they're not going to get any help from the officials at Alabama, although I would guess they're the ones that bring the officials in here, which would mean in that case, hey, are they going to get much help from officials that they bring themselves?
Man, it'd be good for Texas to be in the SEC, to play LSU, to play A&M, to play Ole Miss, to play Georgia, to play, they're playing Bama, play Auburn. Instead, they play Kansas. They play Iowa State, Wyoming. Oh, my goodness.
Well, for all the years that they got the calls because of who they were or the influence they might have had,
they're going to win 10 games.
I wonder if it's going to happen very much this year.
Texas is going to win 10 games this year. Do you see that schedule? I mean, the talent they have. It's always a surprise when Texas isn't good, and they got the talent they're supposed to have. They'll be favored in probably 10 or 11 of their games.
Could you imagine Greg Sankey saying something like this publicly to any fan base across the Southeastern Conference? I can't. And maybe he has, and I just missed it.
Well, if let's say Ole Miss and Mississippi State were going to the ACC next year and they were still playing in the SEC, I could see something like that, throwing some fire at them or something.
Nobody leaves the SC, Matt.
Nobody does.
Everybody just wants to end up coming here.
That's right.
If they've got the big boy pants on. But Yormark is an interesting guy. He really is. Working for Rock Nation for a long time. And you got to appreciate somebody that thinks differently than I think anybody else that I've ever seen running a college league. They've grabbed onto the idea that the Big 12 has tremendous basketball, and they've brought in a lot of really good basketball schools that I think will have a little bit of a learning curve for football. But Houston, they'll show up in basketball ready to go, right? Cincinnati might show up ready to go in that league in basketball. I don't know about football necessarily.
Yeah, Cincinnati, man, there's so much talent there. Cincinnati could have won the Big 12 over the last 10 years. If you look at the talent that's come through there, they could have won the Big 12 twice. I mean, they've had some real talent in football. They're a fun basketball school. But, yeah, Houston has its moments. There's just so much talent down there in the Texas area. You get kids, you get the right kids from the right JUCO, the right Division II, whatever. You're able to get this portal game going on. You get the right quarterback and a couple athletes, you'll be all right.
Well, the Big 12 no longer is trying to do the UConn-Gonzaga thing. The new thing that's going on now, and I guess it's not new, it was shut down last week, and now it's being revived again, is the ACC is still thinking about, maybe by the end of the week, having a vote again on Stanford, Cal, and SMU, which, as weird as it feels for the Big 10 to be coast to coast, and as weird as it feels for the Big 12 to stretch from Tucson, Arizona to Morgantown, West Virginia, and heck, they were thinking of stretching all the way out to Storrs, Connecticut, and they've got their basketball coaches at Rucker Park in New York City. They're going to be playing basketball in Mexico City. It still feels even weirder to associate Cal and Stanford with the ACC and SMU with any level of major college sports at the moment, outside of where they have been since the dissolution of the Southwest Conference. And SMU, Matt, is so desperate to get in on this that they are agreeing, potentially, from what I read, of taking absolutely zero money from the television contract that the ACC currently has through 2036. So they're saying, yeah, we'll take no money for 13 years and be very happy with it.
They must got a lot more money than we know about then, that Dallas area.
They must.
They're private school. I think they're all right. It will be weird. I just want to see what they're going to rename the conferences, because it can't be Atlantic Coast Conference if you got Stanford and Cal in your
Well,
in your program.
you get 3 leagues to rename then.
Yeah. So does the SEC stay the same? Do they go something else where they all 4 kind of have different names?
I think it's about time that we just drop the numbers off of the conference. I mean, this has been a thing for so long. You had the Big 6, you had the Big 8, you had the Big 10, you had the Big 12. We've chosen every single – all these even numbers have come up here, you know. And when the Big 10 moved to 11, they weren't going to do that because they had their brand. But when your brand now is 8 numbers off of what you actually have, I think it's time to drop the numbers. Don't you think? Is there another way to go about this?
You know, the what are some of those big 3 names, you know, like the Big Shield?
Ford, GM, and Dodge.
The coast to coast.
CBS, ABC, and NBC, and then we threw in Fox. That's a big 4. We're gonna have a power 4. That's a power 4.
NBC,
used to be
NBC, ESPN, Fox Sports. Yeah.
Wild, man. Yeah. Well, the renaming is probably the last thing that happens. First, you figure out who's your membership and whether or not you got an even number that you can brand on.
It's an Easter egg hunt, man. They're collecting as much as they can. Everybody's greedy. They're like, come on. They don't know what they're going to do with them right now, but they're just like, come on. We want you right now.
And every color under the sun, too. That's right.
It.
All pastel colors. Coast to Coast Conference for Jamie May. I like that one. That's actually not bad. But you always have to, if you're going to have a conference, then you just have to have the anagram that goes with it.
Mm-hmm.
So CCC. You just call it the 3C, and your day's over. It could work. You could see 3C branded things all across. Can't do 3M. That's been taken for a long time. 3C, I think that's open for business. 877-377-6963 to get with it. Oh, I like that one. Aaron in Mountainburg. Popeye's Chicken Conference. ACC and SEC would have to fight over that. There are a lot of places across the country that would fight over Popeye's chicken.
Big 10 could go to the Big Star. You know, you could do something like that.
The Big Behemoth would work, I think, in that case. You're never going to name something off of a joke, though. So they like their number. I think, what was the name of the Big 10 before the Big 10? Because there was another name for that league. Not Great Midwest or anything, but Great Western Conference, or just the Western Conference. Can you imagine that's when the West was viewed a little bit differently than it is now? Yeah, the Western Conference. And then you ended up with a whole thing all the way on the Pacific Coast. Very, very odd. College sports, though, is very, very odd these days. You just have to accept it. All right, let's take a break. We'll take your calls and texts when we come back. Halftime is brought to you by Riley Farm Dental. Dr. Sparkman, Nanda, and Farmer, specializing in general dentistry, braces, implants, and cosmetics. They'll provide every type of dental care and procedure for you.
Video is powered by the pros at Pascal Air Plumbing and Electric. Arkansas owned, Arkansas operated. GoPascal.com.
Fall season is just around the corner, and I know all of us are looking for that wholesome, convenient meal. Well, look no further than Factor, America's #1 ready-to-eat meal kit. They can help you with chef-prepared, dietitian-approved, ready-to-eat meals delivered right to your door. And right now, use the code HTL50. Head to factormeals.com/HTL50 and get 50% off. That's code HTL50 at factormeals.com to get 50% off, thanks to Hit That Line. The great thing about Factor, over 34 weekly prepared meals that you can choose from. Plus, you don't have to run around to worry about where you're getting lunch. Let Factor take care of it for you. Let me tell you the code one more time to help you get 50% off. Factormeals.com/HTL50. Factormeals.com/HTL50. Factor, America's #1 ready-to-eat meal kit.
Call or text the McClarty Daniel hotline at 877-377-6963. McClarty Daniel, a vehicle for every lifestyle.
When you're looking for a new car, you want to shop for a vehicle you love with an organization you trust. You've probably heard that McClarty Daniel means making deals, but what I'm inspired by the most is that McClarty Daniel means making a difference in our community. When you buy a vehicle with McClarty Daniel, you reinvest right here in the community, in our schools, in our little leagues, in our food banks, and our people. So you're not just making a purchase, you're making a difference too. Come see us at any of our 6 locations in Northwest Arkansas.
Tommy Kraft here. When it came time for new gates and some fence repairs at my home, the Fence Man was my first call. The Fence Man does it all, from large commercial jobs to small residential repairs. Wood privacy fence, vinyl fence, commercial or residential chain link, even custom wrought iron fencing. 479-782-3936. 18 months, same as cash financing with approved credit is now available. If it involves fencing, the Fence Man does it. The Fence Man. He ain't afraid of no work. 479-782-3936.
A dandy white perch. Big old slab. C'est bon, sacalé.
One beautiful crappie.
It's a paper mouse.
Some serious crappie.
Nice speck.
We got crappies.
They might go by different names, but all prefer the same thing. Bobby Garland, America's favorite white perch, slab, sockeye, papermouth, crappie, speck, crappie baits.
I call it dinner.
Rockwell and Orwell are both known for their work from 1984. It's no conspiracy that somebody's watching me, because the terms and agreements that no one reads is the reason there's no privacy. Big Tech is tracking every move you make and is starting to control society and how you participate. Absolute power corrupts absolutely, and Revelation 13 describes a mark for those who fall for this utopian dream. I'm Pastor Eve from Woodland. Read about it.
BetOnline is your #1 source for all your betting needs. Get the latest odds, lines, and matchup reports for baseball, boxing, golf, and more. BetOnline continues to be the fastest and easiest way to place your wagers, including live betting and your favorite casino and card games available to play right from your phone. Head to the website or use your mobile device to sign up today and get in on the action. Remember to use our promo code BELIEVE, that's BLEAV, for your 50% welcome bonus on your first deposit. Bet online, where the game starts.
Looking for an African adventure without the hassle of planning? Kruger Safari Club has got you covered. Our custom hunting and safari packages take care of everything from transportation to accommodations, so you can focus on enjoying the experience of a lifetime. With our team's extensive knowledge of the best hunting and safari spots in South Africa, Mozambique, and Zimbabwe, you'll have access to some of the most breathtaking views and exciting game hunting opportunities on the planet. And with our commitment to ethical hunting and giving back to the local community, you'll know that your trip with us is making a positive impact. Book your trip now and let us take care of the rest. Find out more at KrugerSafariClub.com.
Are you looking for the best Razorbacks insight and analysis?
Hell yes.
How about listening to an Arkansas football legend?
Matt Jones, all he does is make big plays.
What's the voice of the Hogs have to say?
Hey, what a great crowd last night.
Don't forget about the Omahogs.
The Hogs are going to Omaha.
Matt Jones, Chuck Barrett, and Phil Elson, the best in the business, on the Hit That Line Podcast Network. Go to hitthatline.com or search Hit That Line wherever you listen to podcasts. Don't forget to rate, review, subscribe, and share.
Just what I need. Another reason to bleed. One by one, hitting up my sleeve. One by one, hitting up my sleeve. Hey, don't let it go to waste. I love it, but I hate the taste. Way keeping me down. Hey, don't let it go to waste. I love it, but I hate the taste. Way keeping
You're listening to Halftime with Phil Elson and Matt Jones. Want to jump in the conversation? Call or text ESPN Arkansas on the McClarty Daniel Hotline, 877-377-6963. Now, here's Phil Elson and Matt Jones.
Let me see, last spring during spring break, my in-laws and my parents came out here and we took a day trip to Hot Springs. So I spent about a day in Hot Springs and then we drove through, I guess, basically northern Arkansas just to get there and back. And so I got to see some of the landscape and then we hiked Devil's Den. And then this past July 4th week, I hiked Yellow Rock Overlook. I think, yeah, Yellow Rock something. But it was fantastic. I'd never seen a view like that. It blew my mind.
That's Josh Braun, a new Razorback lineman. He'll be starting at guard this year. And he is from Live Oak, Florida, where the highest elevation in the entire state is 345 feet above sea level. So I'm sure there are some sights across Arkansas he's never seen before. Kids from right there in the middle between Gainesville, Tallahassee, and Jacksonville. Yet he said all he really wanted to do was play for Sam Pittman, and he knew that if he had the chance, he committed to Florida, of course, though, first. If he had the chance that he would, and he went into the portal, and that's what he did.
When it came up that he got the Arkansas job and he left, I mean, he told us up front that was the only job he'd leave for. I didn't hold any ill will against him. He's living out his dream, and now I'm just thankful that I get to be a part of his dream and help him reach the next level. I mean, coming out of high school, I wanted to play for Coach Pittman, so I knew that if the situation ever arose that I would need to enter the transfer portal, I most likely would end up playing for Coach Pittman.
Means he was up front with the recruits that he was talking to, not even kids that were on his team yet. That if you come play for me on the offensive line at Georgia, there's only one place I will leave to take a job for, and it's Arkansas. He's been telling kids that for a long time now.
Honesty goes a long way with these kids, and it's Phil, it's the truth. 80% of these kids go play because of the relationship they have with their position coach or the head coach. You know, you have 20-25%. They're like, man, this is the school I'm going to. I don't care who else. I just want to go, and that's cool too. You know, however you got to get them. But most of these kids, that's what it is, man. You have a relationship, you build a rapport, you have trust, you're honest, you have open communication, all that stuff that goes into getting the right kids on campus.
It's got to be, though, difficult in this industry, which has just such an amazing amount of turnover amongst coaches. I mean, you only have one coach that's still off the original coaching staff with Sam Pittman, and that's Scott Fountain. Outside of that, Cody Kennedy is the second longest tenured head coach, and he's been with the program for 2 seasons. So there's all this amazing turnover with the coaching staff outside of a few circumstances here and there. Now you have the same kind of turnover amongst the players, right? I mean, it's a little different because you can't transfer twice and sit only once, but now you get more of that turnover on both sides, from the coaches and from the players. So I think you sign because of a relationship, and you'll sign maybe because of a relationship out of the portal, but I have a feeling it has a little bit more about where it is you're going to play specifically, and what league you're going to play, and that's what Tank Booker said yesterday. I wanted to do it in the SEC. That's why he's here.
There's a few deciding factors, location. You've seen some people come out in the Pac-12 that when they're going to the Big Ten, they wanted to play close to home. There's all sorts of different factors, and but relationships is that's a big one.
I just feel like reasons might change as you get a little older and your experience changes, and you start to notice that maybe there's a better opportunity somewhere else to put
and
on
you want to
display
play, right?
what you do better, right?
You don't want to sit on the bench. You don't want to be somewhere and be a third team guy. You want to be a starter. They're all these guys are alphas. They're all competitors, ultra competitive. You don't get to this far and not be a little bit competitive and want to play. I never liked sitting on the bench. It was hard, man. It's hard to watch everybody go out, especially when you think you can when you're good enough to play. It's tough.
When you think about turnover. That the turnover in the coaching staff, yes. There's probably, I guess I heard the number 15 portal guys, new Razorbacks, first-year portal players, not true freshmen, portal players who established themselves somewhere else, And outside of Jaheim Singletary, I think every portal entry was an established player where they were previously at Arkansas.
I wonder how many are in the 2 deep right now, like on opening day, because wasn't there 41 new players? The turnover now, you had portal guys, incoming freshmen, all the stuff. That's a big turnover rate right there. I wonder how many of these guys are in the 2 deep. And I'm excited, Phil, to see which one of these guys step up and start making plays. Who are these guys? The names I don't know yet, and these are guys that are going to be making play each Saturday.
Well, take your pick of about, 3 wide receivers, a couple of tight ends,
hopefully
a whole bunch of defensive
too.
linemen, a couple of linebackers, 3 or 4 defensive backs. Take your pick. Well, I don't know the number. I don't know. You have 22 starters. I'm going to guess. I'll just guess. I could do the research, but I was a little lazy on doing that this morning. I'll guess 40%. 11 or 12 of them.
Yeah, 40, 50% being in the 2 deep. I would agree with you. And that mean being a talent evaluator and getting the right guys in, that mean, Coach Muss, that's one thing that you look at him in the basketball portal. He gets guys, they come in and he doesn't miss on a lot of guys. So we're going to see how many guys did we miss on any of these guys, or can all these guys come in and contribute?
Sam Pittman seems to think, I know he mentioned it yesterday on Sam Pittman Live, that they hit on most of them. I think 15 was the number that I heard. I think that's why I threw that out there.
That's a big time. There's a lot of room to make plays on this team. You had a couple guys get drafted, and you weren't that strong on defense last year. So there's some room, there's some spots, there's some open competition to come up here and make a play.
So let's see. We'll open the McClarty Daniel hotline at 877-377-6963. Josh Braun was really excited about the view in Devil's Den.
Have you, Phil? Have you done Devil's Den? I know we both done Pinnacle Mountain, and but
I haven't done all of Devil's Den.
Yeah.
I've done some of it.
It is pretty up there.
It is absolutely gorgeous.
Yeah.
Florida's beautiful on the beaches. I'd say Arkansas's got the mountains, because I don't know of a single mountain in Florida that's not Space Mountain.
The Ozark Mountains are pretty cool, and there's no alligators. You don't have to worry about any. If you hit your golf ball by the water in Florida, sometimes you just leave it over there. Just like, I don't think we're gonna mess with that golf ball.
Well, I'm gonna take a look over to Blue Mountain right now, where the elevation is 495, and Cody is with us at the moment. Good morning, Cody. What's new in Blue Ball?
Good morning, Phil. I'm going to tell you guys something like my wife never tells me. I missed you.
Did you really?
I don't hear it. Oh, I absolutely did, man.
You need the words returned to you? Is that what you're looking for here?
No, absolutely not, Phil. I would not allow that. I appreciate your time, and I appreciate you taking my call. That's all I need.
We'll see if I'm guilted into missing you by the end of the phone call, Cody, okay?
Okay, well, that guy should definitely come hike Blue Mountain for sure. It's definitely beautiful. But, Phil, are you familiar with bull riding real quick? Do you know what bull riding is?
I mean, I've seen people on a bull riding it on television before.
Right.
I mean, are we also talking about, like, electric cowboy bull riding? What are we getting at?
Oh, Phil, okay. Well, Saturdays, back in the day, I would go to Gillies and ride the bull. Are you familiar with Gillies?
Yeah,
down there
I know
Texas
that.
as well?
I know. You of course were watching Deborah Winger on this thing, right?
Phil, wait a minute. Phil, oh my gosh. Okay, now I would frequently see John Travolta in there, but he would always go as Bud. All right. Well, I go in there. Charlie Daniels is playing. There's this guy just busting out all these crazy moves on this bull. I mean, riding the hydraulics off of it. I go there with my Schaefer's beer stand and wait for this guy to get off. He finally does. And I said, man, that was amazing. He said, yeah, I just do this because I really want to play baseball. And I said, really? Okay. What's your name, by the way? And he said, you can call me Charlie Hustle.
Really?
And I thought,
get out of here. Did he offer odds on whether or not he would make it 8 seconds and then ask for some, to see the money?
Phil, there may have been a couple of under the tables there, but that girl did walk in, and she did end up beating us, okay? And after that, me and Charlie Hustle was out in the parking lot. I had a flat on my car, and this guy pulled up, and he said, hey, I can help you out. I got a jack. I'll help you guys out. And I said, okay, I really appreciate it. This guy changes our tires. I said, by the way, what's your name, cowboy? And he said, I'm Ty Murray, and I'm on my way to a concert to go watch my wife sing. And I thought, all right, that's cool, man. And after that, I never seen that dude again until the PBR. These guys are really doing something with their lives, buddy.
Well, I mean, you really have an amazing life, Cody. You meet some, and over by Blue Mountain, you meet some really amazing people. Cody, it's great to hear from you, man. Thank you so much. Did we miss Cody?
I miss Cody.
You missed him?
Yeah.
By the end of the call, you missed him, or at the moment that he started talking, did you miss him?
I'm just glad he's okay. Just like he said, I'm just glad he's still okay out there kicking.
Or did he just miss you with the story? I don't know. Let's take a look at some of the texts here on the hotline. Leon in West Fork. Braun wants to play for Pittman. Other players say they came due to coaches being here. Unity of the team. He feels really positive. Thinks Arkansas could steal a win or two. And he says Petit Jean is my favorite park to hike in Arkansas. I love Petit Jean. That's stunning. Nebo, love Nebo. And, yeah, Pinnacle's great too. Yeah, I agree. It's all positive feelings right now, isn't it? When you listening to Sam Pittman talk, it's all positive feelings.
It's we're gonna get to see him live September 2nd down there in Little Rock. It's gonna be hot. You're gonna see him make some plays. You don't think there'll be a lot of adversity, but there might be some. You might get down early. They might have a couple playmakers too. So stick together and man, it's just going to be exciting to see guys make plays again. I think we're ready. We're ready for football to start.
Speaking of making plays, Michael in Bonanza wants to know who will be the number one transfer wide receiver. Well, you get three of them: Broden from Bowling Green, Tesla from Hillsdale, and Armstrong from A&M Commerce. We hear a lot of really good things about both Armstrong and Tesla.
I'm thinking Tesla might be a red zone threat. Both of them might be too, but to kind of get some of our red zone problems we had last year, he's a bigger body guy that has natural hands. I mean, we've seen the highlights. He's somebody. Hopefully KJ trusts. That'd be the thing. Is like, who does KJ trust? How do they go? As a quarterback, when you throw it to a receiver, the one thing that you don't want to happen is for it to be intercepted. So if it's one of those 50-50 balls, if Tesla's good at that, just don't let it get intercepted, and I keep throwing it to you.
From everything that Clay says, and I think Chuck has mentioned it too, it's it seems that Tesla catches everything that comes his way.
Red zone master. He might not have as many catches as Armstrong or Broden, but he might have more touchdowns. Because if he's the red zone guy. We need somebody back there that when you see man-to-man coverage on your outside guy and it's Tesla, if it's Armstrong, whoever the guy's going to be, the quarterback has to be able to check and get to the route, and you got to be able to win your one-on-one matchup.
877-377-6963. If you got any thoughts, who do you think will be Arkansas's number one transfer receiver? And let's stretch that out a little bit. Who will be Arkansas's best transfer offensive players? You got a couple of tight ends that I think will pay off some dividends too. Again, that number is 877-377-6963 on the McClarty-Daniel hotline. Ryan in Prairie Grove appreciated Cody's story, enjoyed the hydraulics. Cody talks really fast. I have a little difficulty keeping up with him sometimes.
He's a mover and shaker. He got things to do.
But he did catch me with Pete Rose. And then after that, I wasn't quite sure what I heard. But I hear the music, and so we're into a break in just a moment and be right back.
After I drop the kids off, I have to run across town for a meeting, hit the gym during lunch. Jake has soccer tonight, and Emily has gymnastics? Oh, did I turn on the crock pot this morning?
With a never-ending to-do list, it's easy to forget something important, like setting up a life insurance plan with Shelter Insurance. Your local Shelter agent can show you how to create a safety net for your family. Shelter Life Insurance Company, Columbia, Missouri.
Call Jeff Clark in Fort Smith or Brad Howe in Van Buren. This is Ty Richardson. When I think of rich history and tradition in Fort Smith, I think of Papa's Pub and Pizzeria. Papa's Pub and Pizzeria has won the best pizza and bar in Fort Smith the past 25 straight years. So if you want to experience legendary pizza, awesome drinks, and memories for a lifetime, swing by Papa's, 508 Garrison Avenue in downtown Fort Smith. Papa's Pub and Pizzeria, the best darn pizza in Fort Smith, perhaps the world.
With over 40 years combined experience, the team at the law offices of Craig L. Cook understand the definition of work. Real work. Working for you. Whether you've been injured in an auto accident, on the job, a victim of nursing home negligence, or need help navigating bankruptcy, Social Security, wills, trusts, estates, or family law issues, Craig Cook will go to work for you. Call us today, 479-783-8000. The law offices of Craig L. Cook, with locations in Arkansas and Oklahoma. We work for working people.
Escape to the lake with G3 boats and Suncatcher pontoons. Huge model end year closeout sale going on now at Auto Finders and Adventure Oklahoma in Roland. Save thousands on 2023 G3 models and Suncatcher pontoons with the largest rebates of the year now through September 30th. There's still time for some fun on the water with Auto Finders and Adventure Oklahoma. View their inventory online at autofindersok.com. Your search ends here. See dealer for rebate details.
Here's to you and yours from your friends at In Good Spirits, your upscale liquor store in Fort Smith. Hey, warmer weather is with us, and that means fun in the outdoors. Whether you're in the boat, onshore enjoying a picnic, or attending a family celebration, In Good Spirits can provide you with the tastiest adult beverages in town. And don't forget to treat yourself as you listen to the game. In Good Spirits, Highway 71 South across from Riley Farms in Fort Smith.
Precision Overhead Door features the finest quality materials, installation, and service for all of your overhead door needs. Fully licensed and insured, with locations in Rogers and Fort Smith, serving all of Northwest Arkansas and the River Valley. Give them a call today at 844-PDS-STORE or online at PrecisionDoorNWA.com. Back-to-back winners of the Best of Award, Gold Best Garage Company in Northwest Arkansas, and also winners of the River Valley Precision Overhead Door.
Hi, this is Melissa Vitale, owner of True Grit Running Company. Your young athlete deserves the best when it comes to footwear. After all, it's good to start early so they don't have problems in the future. We've got options for training, cross-country, gym class, and more. Our well-trained staff can guide your student athlete through our personalized fit process to help find that True Grit fit. And for our cross-country kids, we offer a 10% discount off of your total purchase. Visit our store in Fort Smith, located behind Chick-fil-A.
Shop the store that honors Christ all year. Shop the Solid Rock. Are you looking for that perfect inspirational gift? From greeting cards to home decor, custom laser engraving, and women's boutique items, the Solid Rock is your source for local, hard-to-find inspirational gifts for everyone in the family, including a large selection of Bibles with free name imprint. Solid Rock. Score the perfect gift, share the spirit, enjoy the inspiration. Located next to Sam's Club on South 74th and Fort Smith, the Solid Rock, serving the River Valley for over 48 years.
Don't miss Hog Reaction this fall, presented by Teague Law Firm and Signature Bank. Heard all across ESPN Arkansas and hitthatline.com. Make sure to follow Halftime on Twitter at HitThatLineAR and on Facebook and Instagram at HitThatLine. Call or text ESPN Arkansas on the McClarty Daniel Hotline, 877-377-6963. Now back to Halftime with Phil Elson and Matt Jones.
Well, let's do that. Let's get onto the McClarty Daniel Hotline. We've got Charlie the Tuna with us. A little bit earlier than usual today, Charlie. Good morning. What's up?
What's up? Well, I guess me and Eddie were kind of the
topic of conversation yesterday. I kind of listened to a lot of that, and I do want to say this. I would much rather Eddie be on my side than against me. So if I had to, choose, I think I would definitely, as you said, Phil, take him as a tag team partner.
I think what you ought to do, Charlie, is think about maybe getting Eddie's phone number and getting him to give you a pre-call speech, sort of like a pre-game speech. You think you could work that in?
I mean, I might need to do that. And, for me, I've always said I think he could definitely motivate. He's great. I mean, I don't have any issues with the guy from Texas either. The issue I have more than anything is him calling. I don't have an issue with him per se, but I just have the issue with him calling into another state's sports radio station and blah, 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 and doing all this and that. And I mean, Texas is one. I think Clay had the stat, 6.9 games on average in 10 years. With all that talent, that's all I need to know, man. That's all I need to know. That's all I need to say. I don't need to say nothing else. But I wanted to, I was thinking about the last night, and I was listening to Sam and the guys talk, and I just, again, go back to, Sam and how good he is at relating to the kids and things of that nature. Did they have all that? They did all that when you were playing too, Matt, right? They do that over at Catfish Hole?
No, Petrino was the first coach to do it. Coach Nutt did the TV show.
Okay, I did not know that. Wow,
We were talking about that the other day, Matt. Like Houston, I would have loved to see Houston Nutt in that sort of atmosphere.
Yeah, they did that. Oh, he'd be great in that atmosphere.
He's a natural.
Great, he'd be awesome. But yeah, anyways, I think Coach did a great job. It was great hearing from Dwight and Rashad Devinian. I think that's a great thing to hear on him before y'all go to break. Matt, you talked about this could possibly be a really good year for him, and I believe so too. I just think that his understanding of the game, that's a big thing. And once you start understanding the game more, it helps your confidence. That's just a fact. And he, as Sam said, he's in better shape. So that's great. I'm excited for him. I'm excited for that whole room. Anyways, guys, y'all have a good one.
Okay, Charlie, thanks, man. Good to hear from you. He is backed up by the one and only Eduardo. Do you imagine a phone call from Eddie?
Getting you out
you
there.
Call that a point on the offense, sir?
They, Devinian, I know we talked about this, and Phil, you brought this up. We didn't get any portal guys for running backs, but we didn't lose any of our running backs either because
that's right.
Devinian could go start for a lot of teams. AJ Green can go start for a lot of teams.
I remember watching AJ a couple years ago and thinking there's no way they're able to keep him because Rocket's great.
They all three start. We got three starters back there. Yeah,
but they want to be here. They want to be here. And Dubinion got a taste of being a featured back at the Liberty Bowl. Got a taste of it.
I like what I've seen so far. Yeah, I like what I've seen.
We're looking into the eyes of hour number 2 of halftime, so we'll be right back.
Frank Rowe Furniture is your family-owned furniture, appliance, and electronics store. We have been servicing the area for 38 years with quality products and service after the sale. Frank Rowe Furniture offers a no-pressure sales atmosphere where you can actually enjoy shopping for your furniture. We also offer in-store, no-credit check financing. Don't wait weeks to be able to take your furniture you purchase home. Stop by and we will load you up today. Family-owned, service after the sale, and no-credit check financing. Frank Rowe Furniture, 405 4th Street, Barling, Arkansas. Best seats in the house.
Before you buy that next car or truck, stop by Broadway Motors in Van Buren. The best of the best for 2 straight years. Michael and his team offer the best prices on the best quality pre-owned vehicles in the River Valley. They invite you to stop by and check it out for yourself. Or if you prefer to check out their inventory online or even do your financing online. Michael has built his reputation as a husband, father, and owner-operator since 2006. Broadway Motors, 806 Broadway in Van Buren, or online at BroadwayMotorsAR.com.
Riley Farm Dental, at the entrance to Riley Farms, provides every type of dental care and procedures for you and your family. General dentistry, braces, implants, and cosmetics. Drs. Sparkman, Nanda, and Farmer give all of their patients better lives with a better smile, more confident, and a comfortable experience every time. Riley Farm Dental, 5901 Riley Park Drive, Suite A, at the entrance to Riley Farms. Call 226-3500 for an appointment or visit RileyFarmDental.com.
What makes a meal magical? Maybe it's coming home to smiling faces and the aroma of the grill. Maybe magic is the moment you finally get the secret ingredient to Mom's signature mac and cheese. Who knows, magic might just be as simple as meeting up with a friend to share a number 2 with fries and extra ketchup. One thing's for certain, magic shouldn't be hard because it's everywhere. All it takes is mixing the right ingredients, good company, great food, and ice-cold Coca-Cola. And then, voila! You'll have a recipe for magic.
The spring allergy and hay fever seasons are here, and Law's Drugstore has what you need to safely take care of you and your family. Law's Drugstore can fill and refill your prescriptions, and they have all of the over-the-counter allergy remedies to provide comfort. Call 452-6116 and ask about vaccine shot appointment for shingles, pneumonia, COVID, and whooping cough. Law's Drugstore, 6802 Rogers Avenue behind the Outback Steakhouse. Law's Drugstore, open 6 days a week to safely care for you and your family.
ESPN Arkansas weather.
For today, lots of sunshine. It's going to be a hot and sticky day. Our high this afternoon, upper 90s to low 100s. A heat index right around 110 to 113. Partly cloudy, mid to upper 70s tonight. Friday, sunshine. Our high will be into the upper 90s to low 100s. I'm Sally Russell with your forecast on ESPN Arkansas.
The weather is brought to you by Come Get You Some, Arkansas's premier off-road superstore. Call 782-MUD today. KERX Paris Fort Smith. The Bud Light Countdown is on. Arkansas football begins in 9 days. Broadcasting on ESPN Arkansas and streaming on hitthatline.com.
We got a good one tonight. You got a team in here that doesn't respect you.
Live from the Busch Light Studios.
Don't ask me if I'm all right. Joaquin said dominate, and we not doing it.
We're going to go get one and celebrate on somebody else's field.
Matt Jones may take it to the house and the dunk.
Phil said you had very motivational words at halftime.
It's halftime with Phil Elson and Matt Jones.
From the bottom of my toes to the top of my head. I put my heart up. Let's go, man.
Probably as frustrated as I've been the first half.
Do we believe?
Second half, very happy.
Is vintage Matt Jones. 1, 2, 3. Turn that down,
Call or text on the McClarty Daniel hotline, 877-377-6963. Now, here's Phil Elson and Matt Jones.
And we welcome you back into halftime on ESPN Arkansas. HitThatLine.com into our second hour. I'm Phil Elson along with Matt Jones, Christian Johnston producing. Bob Holt will come up in about 15 minutes or so. I don't have to worry about the morning practice or the press conference that would happen after that. This will actually be the last time we'll hear from anybody for 3 days. We don't have another presser until after Monday's practice, and that's the start of game week. It is a 4:20 practice, and then Sam Pittman speaks in, I guess that would be the early evening, which would make it, and you could say, so Coach Pittman was at the Little Rock Touchdown Club Tuesday, was at Keith Stokes' funeral on the way back to Fayetteville. Yesterday, there was the Hogs Illustrated Sports Club, which Clay has hosted, I think, a couple of times before. Then there was Sam Pittman Live, and now he is doing another presser today after practice. That's a lot of media availabilities, and you don't have to worry about it again until next week. So he's really good at doing the media avails, though. So
you think he's
like
ready?
Listening to him.
You think?
Yes.
You think he? You know, we talked about it. We're ready for it. It's almost here. It's almost here. I bet.
Not only am I ready for it, but I'm sort of the buildup is getting. Is it getting a little bit tiring? Just the wait.
I think Monday will feel good. Monday will be it'll be ready. I mean,
9 days will feel more like 14. You know, it's what I was getting at earlier yesterday with Chuck. The buildup. You know, like I'm a baseball guy first and foremost, of course. The buildup to the baseball season does not affect me the same way that the buildup to the football season does. Same thing with basketball, because you got football leading into basketball, which leads into baseball. That's the natural ebb and flow of the college athletic season. And that's why November, for people that work in college athletics, November is craziness And February into March is even crazier because you get 2 basketball teams, and then you got your baseball and your softball and everything else that goes into it. But at least there's not like all this sitting around doing a bunch of wondering. Yeah, we'll wonder about this and that with baseball, but at least we have ready-made evidence of what's going on with the basketball season at that very time. In August right now, I feel like we've hit on almost everything we can hit on, at least with this Razorback team. But we'll keep trying.
Well, yeah, I mean, it would be different. I don't know, you get to go to practice or something like that. We're just kind of, we haven't seen. You want to get your eyes on it. You know, you're just ready. You're ready
that's
for
a good
September
point.
2nd to get your eyes on them.
Because, Matt, it would be different if we were covering an NFL team and we could go sit at camp for 2 full days.
Right.
And with our eyes, get our eyes onto whatever position battle, whatever drills and everything, and you can report back on what you see. We can't do that. I mean, even if you're going to go at practice and you get 20 minutes, how much you're going to be able to glean right out of that?
There's some people that just look great in their pads and can't make plays. So then you just be going on looks like you're going at the horse races or something.
And whatever's going on Hogs Plus, for as good as that is, it's still curated by people that are attached to the program. So they're giving you what they want you to see, which is great. I mean, that service stands for itself, but it's still curated. So I don't know, all the time what I would be watching and what I'm not watching. So, yeah, we're at that point. And so that, you know what that means? I would usually start giving you all kinds of information on Western Carolina. I guess we can start doing that next week at some point. Might as well, right? Treat it like any other opponent. Give them the respect that they deserve in that case. Here was an interesting little piece yesterday from Sam Pittman Live. This shows trust in somebody that we were just talking about, Rashad Dubinion. And at that point, Dubinion was your featured back in the Liberty Bowl.
We call the play, and it's a wheel route out in the backfield, and KJ looks right at me and goes, "Put Dub in." I'll never forget it as long as I live.
Wow.
And I was going, "I love Dub, but he a freshman." Oh, he gone. And you know what? The players know more than we do. He said, "Put Dub in," and we did. Where I was standing, I couldn't see if he caught it or not, but I could pretty much tell because all the people in red were jumping up and down. And but it was a pretty cool story because KJ knew on that play I want him in. And it was pretty cool, especially for him to earn the respect he had just his first year.
It's a cool story, knowing that KJ was the one who kind of demanded, put him in, and they did, and it resulted in a touchdown.
There was no, it's pretty cool. It's just because they're practicing and they're getting used to each other. He trusts him. There was we had a little tunnel double screen that we used to run, and you'd run it with DeCorey Birmingham. You'd put him in because he was the best at doing that play. Dedrick Poole was another guy you'd have do that. But yeah, it comes in practice. He wins. You go out to practice for 3 weeks and he runs that play 17 times and wins 16 of them. Man, your quarterback's thinking that's the guy I want in there. His winning rate, his conversion rate, man, I trust that guy. He can do this. There's certain, and then it becomes the more you do, and it's like Coach Del Rio said. So we're going to take the things that you can do, and we're gonna expand on those things you can do, and then the things you can't do very well, we're going to work on those, and we're going to try to get better on them and try to add them to it. And so Dubinion's finding his little roles and getting some trust. That's pretty cool.
But he does have that different style running than the other two. Rocket's a little more upright, a little more physical. AJ's the fastest of the bunch. And then Dubinion's got that low center of gravity, the shiftiness.
He's very balanced. I think if you were to, Rocket's definitely more jerky, more cutty like that, and AJ's a one-cut guy, kind of patient. And so is Dubinion. Dubinion's patient. The thing with Dubinion, he's kind of got a little Alex Collins in him where he choppy, and you don't know which way he's going to cut until the end. Like he might go left, he might go right.
Just going to look at how many receptions the running backs were in on last year. Because, we're just talking about Dubinion catching a wheel route touchdown in the Liberty Bowl. And just getting a look at it from last year. Rocket caught 28 passes. That's the third most for Arkansas last year. Dubinion caught a dozen in 13 games, almost one per game, and that wheel was his only touchdown. AJ only caught 6 passes out of the backfield last year. And I guess I would expect, if he's the fastest, I would expect that he'd be targeted just a little bit more. But then again, he's not getting as many snaps. I think Binion was in a lot last year.
Binion has very natural hands. When I see him catching the ball in the game, it's very easy for him. It's very natural, and I think that's why KJ wanted him in there. He looks like that's the same with DeCorey Birmingham. He had Dedrick Poole's a basketball player too. Had very nice hands. It's very all you got to do is put it up there. Peyton Hillis was one of the same like that. Just very nice. You had a running back in, man. You wanted to throw him the ball.
You feel basketball helped you as a receiver with the hands specifically? Because you didn't have to worry about catching very much for 4 years as a quarterback, but going into the NFL, that was your position. Did the basketball or the nature of being a basketball player help?
Yeah, I think it goes back to even younger when being a child and playing catch with my dad. Starting at a young age, and every time you're going out there to the lake, to the pool, you're always wanting to play catch with Dad. So I think that had a lot to do with it as well.
I wore my dad out on having a catch, to where he was his arm would get sore, and I'd be upset. I'd be pissed, man. I'd be 15 minutes into the catch, and he's ready to go inside. I'm like, what are we doing here? Wait a minute, Dad. You're left-handed and right-armed. Try throwing with a left arm.
Yeah.
Come on now.
Yeah, come on.
You got 2 of them.
We just got out here.
Want to have a catch? Dad never says no, right? Well, it happened a few times. It happened just a few times. Your dad ever say no? And did you catch more football or more baseball? Because we caught both, but it was baseball 90%.
Baseball was a lot when I was younger, and then when I got older, he'd go out there and stand at the 12 and out and catch them for me. But yeah, there would be times if we're playing and let's say he was catching, and if I threw 2 in the dirt, he'd be like, well, if you can't do it right, we're not going to do it. We'll come back and try it later, but you got to hit my glove, hit the target, be better. Yeah.
My relationship with my father was so perfect in the sense that he's a pitcher, I was a catcher. I think he tried to train me as a catcher so that he could get free bullpen sessions.
There you go.
He would skip a couple of them and be like, well, I guess I should have brought the chest protector and the cup with me today. Dad, you think you can go a day without skipping a curveball? Pretty please? I'm only 12. Goodness gracious. Didn't work. And then, when he would tell me that his arm was sore, I'd be like, all right, well, you go ahead inside. I'm just going to throw a ball against the neighbor's wooden fence for about 15 more minutes and dent the thing. And if I miss the fence, I might just shatter their window. It only happened once or twice, or maybe 1 or 2 more times after that. Halftime's brought to you by Crabtree RV Center. They're in Alma, the dealership that served you in the River Valley in Northwest Arkansas for over 7 decades. Crabtree RVs right at the junction of I-40 and I-49.
This video is powered by the pros at Pascal Air Plumbing and Electric. Arkansas owned, Arkansas operated. GoPascal.com.
Fall season is just around the corner, and I know all of us are looking for that wholesome, convenient meal. Well, look no further than Factor, America's #1 ready-to-eat meal kit. They can help you with chef-prepared, dietitian-approved, ready-to-eat meals delivered right to your door. And right now, use the code HTL50. Head to factormeals.com/HTL50 and get 50% off. That's code HTL50 at factormeals.com to get 50% off thanks to Hit That Line. The great thing about Factor, over 34 weekly prepared meals that you can choose from. Plus, you don't have to run around to worry about where you're getting lunch. Let Factor take care of it for you. Let me tell you the code one more time to help you get 50% off. Factormeals.com/HTL50. Factormeals.com/HTL50. Factor, America's #1 ready-to-eat meal kit.
Call or text the McClarty Daniel hotline at 877-377-6963. McClarty Daniel, a vehicle for every lifestyle.
When you're looking for a new car, you want to shop for a vehicle you love with an organization you trust. You've probably heard that McClarty Daniel means making deals, but what I'm inspired by the most is that McClarty Daniel means making a difference in our community. When you buy a vehicle with McClarty Daniel, you reinvest right here in the community, in our schools, in our little leagues, in our food banks, and our people. So you're not just making a purchase, you're making a difference too. Come see us at any of our 6 locations in Northwest Arkansas.
Tommy Kraft here. When it came time for new gates and some fence repairs at my home, the Fence Man was my first call. The Fence Man does it all, from large commercial jobs to small residential repairs. Wood privacy fence, vinyl fence, commercial or residential chain link, even custom wrought iron fencing. 479-782-3936. 18 months, same as cash financing with approved credit is now available. If it involves fencing, the Fence Man does it. The Fence Man. He ain't afraid of no work. 479-782-3936.
A dandy white perch. Big old slab. C'est bon, sacalé.
One beautiful crappie.
It's a paper mouse. Some serious crappie. Nice speck.
We got crappies.
They might go by different names, but all prefer the same thing. Bobby Garland, America's favorite white perch, slab, sockeye, papermouth, crappie, speck, crappie baits.
I call it dinner.
Rockwell and Orwell are both known for their work from 1984. It's no conspiracy that somebody's watching me, because the terms and agreements that no one reads is the reason there's no privacy. Big Tech is tracking every move you make and is starting to control society and how you participate. Absolute power corrupts absolutely, and Revelation 13 describes a mark for those who fall for this utopian dream. I'm Pastor Eve from Woodland. Read about it.
BetOnline is your number one source for all your betting needs. Get the latest odds, lines, and matchup reports for baseball, boxing, golf, and more. BetOnline continues to be the fastest and easiest way to place your wagers, including live betting and your favorite casino and card games available to play right from your phone. Head to the website or use your mobile device to sign up today and get in on the action. Remember to use our promo code BELIEVE, that's BLEAV, for your 50% welcome bonus on your first deposit. Bet online, where the game starts.
Looking for an African adventure without the hassle of planning? Kruger Safari Club has got you covered. Our custom hunting and safari packages take care of everything from transportation to accommodations, so you can focus on enjoying the experience of a lifetime. With our team's extensive knowledge of the best hunting and safari spots in South Africa, Mozambique, and Zimbabwe, you'll have access to some of the most breathtaking views and exciting game hunting opportunities on the planet. And with our commitment to ethical hunting and giving back to the local community, you'll know that your trip with us is making a positive impact. Book your trip now and let us take care of the rest. Find out more at KrugerSafariClub.com.
Are you looking for the best Razorbacks insight and analysis?
Hell yes.
How about listening to an Arkansas football legend?
Matt Jones, all he does is make big plays.
What's the voice of the Hogs have to say?
Hey, what a great crowd last night.
Don't forget about the Omahogs.
The Hogs are going to Omaha.
Matt Jones, Chuck Barrett, and Phil Elson, the best in the business, on the Hit That Line Podcast Network. Go to hitthatline.com or search Hit That Line wherever you listen to podcasts. Don't forget to rate, review, subscribe, and share. Placed him on the Mount Rushmore of Arkansas sports writers.
What do you think about that? Yeah, Bob. There's a future in that, yeah.
Here he is, the one and only Bob Holt.
Hey, guys.
Bob, afternoon. How you doing, man?
How you guys doing? I'm good.
Good to hear from you today. You had a pretty interesting press conference yesterday afternoon. Tank Booker, Josh Braun, and who else was in on that yesterday? Tyrone Broden in on it, but they were kind of entertaining, a little bit different than the normal, we're getting the same answers.
Yeah, it was a lot of fun. I mean, obviously you go in there kind of thinking about asking, Josh Braun, like, how you fit in with the offensive line? Tank Booker, what do you think about the depth at the end? And Broden, what do you think about the receiver rotation, whatever? And they're all transfer guys, so it's all their first year. And but yeah, it just was interesting. I didn't realize that Scotty Bordelon had obviously done his research on Tank Booker, and he asked him about being an Eagle Scout. And it was funny. Josh Braun was sitting between them, and he turns to Booker, who I guess was sitting on his right, and said, "You were an Eagle Scout?" Because I mean that's not an easy thing to attain. I mean, you have to do a lot of do a lot of different things, and you probably have to help old ladies across the street, all that kind of stuff. But seriously, you have to know a lot of skills. And he said he was something he was really proud of, and his mom wanted him to do it, and he'd been a Boy Scout. But prompted me to. I thought about. I mean, I was never smart enough or good enough to do all that stuff those guys do, and I think I was a Cub Scout maybe, but I didn't advance. And he said the toughest merit badge was swimming. That they had to do a bunch of different laps and different styles. But obviously, if you're going to be a Boy Scout, you might be a situation where you need to save somebody, from drowning or something. So, that's a good skill set to have. And Josh Braun, he was an interesting guy, very well spoken. They all were. He talked about going hiking and enjoying the outdoors here in Arkansas. I'm not saying offensive linemen aren't in good shape, but I just don't think of offensive linemen as being guys that go on hiking trails and go up in the mountains and all these things. And he said he just felt like, I think he said when the Rome do what the Romans do, he knows it's an outdoor state. And then Broden talked about going through a growth spurt, like growing from like 5'7" to 6'7" when he was younger. So just everybody has had some good stories. It was kind of good to see their personalities come out a little bit.
Bob, how are you feeling after camp, and are you believing, Coach? Do you think this team really does get along, that they're kind of buddies off the field as well, and does that help the team, you think, winning games on Saturdays?
Yeah, I definitely think if you have good chemistry, that helps. Of course, we get limited amounts of practice, maybe 30 minutes, something like that, and we've gotten to interact with the guys. Like yesterday, I thought it was really fun talking to him, but I think it was maybe 12 minutes or something, so take a ton away from that. But and of course everybody's undefeated right now and everybody's feeling good and feeling confident. But last year, I mean, they went 7-6, so it wasn't like a total disaster, but obviously players and coaches and fans all had higher expectations. I know Sam Pittman addressed this in Little Rock that they just can't have another season where they lose 4 games by 9 points. You're going to play a lot of close games in the SEC, and you're maybe going to lose some of them. They got to win some too. I mean, think about it. Last year, if they split those 4 games, they're 8-4, and I think there's a totally different feeling about how the season turned out. And of course, I guess they also beat Kansas. We're not counting the Kansas game in there. They won that comfortably, except there were some bad calls at the end of that Pac-12 crew. That's another thing, but. Yeah, they seem to get along well. I thought something Sam said yesterday. He's Dogs Illustrated Sports Club, and he talked about how I guess it was Jaden Wilson had taken a fall and hurt himself, thankfully, and that the DBs a big hit. They were all concerned about their teammate on the other side of the ball. Is he okay? How's he doing? And so that's not just lip service. That's really showing that they care about each other. Because there's some, I've seen this on Arkansas teams. I'm sure it happens on other teams where, yeah, if a defensive player made a big play and it maybe resulted in hurting a teammate. Not that they're out there to hurt a teammate, but they're more concerned about celebrating what they did than they're concerned for a teammate. So I thought that was a pretty telling statement he said.
So many people look at a team that might have lost 4 games by a total of 9 points and say, well, they were that close. But there were too many deficiencies to be a team that would win 4 games by 9 points. And that's why you see a remade defense. That's why you see a remade defensive coaching staff. Sam Pittman wasn't sitting on the idea of we were unlucky. It was the way the ball bounced and all of those things. You got to improve. Where do you think this team is most improved upon last year?
Well, I would say probably the defensive line. And not that I thought, they had bad defensive linemen last year. They had some good ones, and they had a lot of sacks. But I just, think they have a lot of talent. They have a lot of depth. They have a lot of experience. I mean, you look at the end spots. I mean, one of the reasons I know probably drove fans nuts at times that they do the 3-man rush and the 3-man down lineman and drop, 5, 6, maybe 7 guys into coverage. But, part of that was Barry Odom's scheme and wanting to make the quarterbacks throw into coverage. Part of it was, honestly, I think just the deficiency of depth on the defensive line. And so Deke Adams has gone out there and done a really good job of changing his room, as Sam Pittman would put it. It was interesting. Deke Adams, Arkansas had a long stretch of turnover in the defensive line room and coaches. Deke Adams is back for his second year. And he's the first defensive line coach in Sam Pittman's 4 seasons to come back for a second year. And Sam talked about how you got to change the room, meaning recruiting. And so they brought in, Creighton Jeffcoat from Missouri. He's got a lot of SEC experience, obviously, in Missouri. They brought in Tank Booker from Maryland, played in the Big Ten. They brought in John Morgan from Pittsburgh, where he played in the ACC, played on an ACC championship team, that played, I think it was Michigan State, was it the Orange Bowl, or I can't remember, Peach Bowl a couple of years ago. So these are guys with some big-time experience. And, of course, we know about Landon Jackson coming in from LSU, and he's really changed his body. And so you feel like they've got talent there. They've got good depth. They've got good experience. And so I think the defensive line and then probably the secondary, they've hit the portal hard. They brought in guys who played at Baylor like, Snacks Jansen and now Walcott. And they brought in, Jaheim Singletary from Georgia. So they're bringing in guys, from Big 12 and SEC programs, guys that are used to winning. And obviously, the pass defense, we know what an issue that was, and Sam alluded to it in kind of a funny line at the Little Rock Touchdown Club about how, they brought in, Marcus Woodson from Florida State, and they ranked 7th in pass defense, and then he kind of sniffed and said, we, meaning Arkansas, finished last year. He didn't say where. I'd have to look it up. It was probably about 129th or 130th. It was really bad. And so he's kind of joking, but obviously that was a big issue last year, and that's one of the reasons they only won 7 games and were only 6-6 in regular season. So I'd say the 2 spots are the defensive line and the secondary.
Bob, you're right on. We were 130th last year in passing, and that has to get better. And I, looking at this Western Carolina team, you don't see anything on them. I mean, we're going to be 4 touchdown favorites in this game. And that being said, what do you want to see week 1? Is there one offensive player you want to watch, or who are you most excited to get to see play September 2nd when we take on Western Carolina?
I guess Luke Haas, the freshman tight end who very heavily recruited. Alabama tried to flip him, and he's been getting a ton of first-team reps in camp, at least the part we've seen. He's been running with the starters. Nathan Bax was really their one experienced tight end. Ty Washington had a little bit of experience last year. He got a touchdown pass in the Liberty Bowl, but he was able to preserve his red shirt. But, the coaches and the teammates just rave about Luke. Really goes back. Dan Enos talked about how, of course, Dan got here in the spring just like Luke did, and he said, I'm paraphrasing here, but he said something like, I thought, has this guy been here 3 years? Oh, yeah, he just got here just like I did. And so talking about how he's like having another wide receiver out there in terms of his ability to run routes, catch passes. He seems like a pretty physical player. And so he's a guy. I kind of had to laugh. The coaches put out their all-SEC teams earlier this week, and they had a first-team tight end, a second-team tight end, and 4 guys tied for third-team tight end, including Trey Knox at South Carolina, who played here, and wish Trey the best, really good guy. But I'm thinking in postseason, Luke Haas is going to be getting some of those all-SEC honors. But he's a guy I definitely want to see if what he's been doing in practice impresses everybody so much, translates to a game. And, obviously you expect he and all these guys to dominate Western Carolina. No offense to them, but I think he could be a big-time player based on, what we've seen and heard.
Bob, today's the last time you'll speak to anybody at Arkansas football until next Monday. It's Sam Pittman after practice, and then Coach Pittman again on Monday. What can you ask Sam Pittman that he already hasn't been asked in camp?
I don't know, because Sam talked Tuesday in Little Rock, and then he talked Wednesday here, and then he has a radio show last night, so I just hope he didn't talk out. But I know they were supposed to put in the installation, start installing Western Carolina game plan on Wednesday, and so I know Western Carolina and Alabama, but you hope they'd be excited to start working on an opponent and kind of get out of camp mode. But I guess maybe how's the install doing, and I guess we can ask them about the air conditioning again. They're that going. They need to get. I don't know. I guess it's like anything else, right? If you ever get anything done on your house, it always seems to take longer than. But just how I know he feels good about this team, and I think Sam by nature is an optimistic person. But I don't think he's just blowing smoke up. Everybody's. I think he generally feels good about this team and the changes they made. And he kind of jokes in Little Rock. He wasn't going to fire himself. But he had to make some other changes, and he also had something I thought he said that was really interesting, is that, and Sam's a very likable I mean, he's very outgoing, but he also is the CEO of a big organization, University of Arkansas Football. And he has a CEO approach. He doesn't call plays, and he's a great recruiter. I think he puts the staff together. He obviously sets the tone for the team, but he's kind of like, a CEO-type coach. Some guys are like that, and some guys want to be play callers or whatever. And he talked about how he wanted to always be liked by everybody, and when he found out being a leadership role is you can't do that. Not that you go out of your way to, upset people or be rude or whatever, but that sometimes you have to make hard decisions that are going to make people mad at you. And you just have to live with that, and but you got to do what's best for everybody, even if that might upset, this particular person. I thought that was a pretty telling thing he said.
Bob, do you think this year, last year maybe we were a little snake bit, but do you think that we had, just the fumble at the A&M going in, not getting the fourth down at Liberty? Do you think this year we can win the turnover battle?
Yeah, I mean, last year Arkansas got a lot of sacks, and of course Barry Odom's teams were known for getting turnovers. But you look at some of the playmakers they have. Of course, getting Dwight McLaughlin back, cornerback, was a big deal. He was a first-team pick by the coaches. Obviously, that's preseason, but that's an indication of the respect he has in the league. And I think these guys are going to be able to put pressure on the quarterback, and with rushing 4 people most of the time. That we know Travis Williams has been known to blitz a little bit. And so I think, obviously the more pressure you can put on that quarterback, the better chance you have he's going to make a mistake, either fumble it or throw up. Yeah, I think this team could definitely turn over. You win the turnover battle more often than not, you're going to win the game.
Bob, appreciate you as always. Have a great rest of the day, and by next week we will be previewing Arkansas in an actual football game. Thanks a lot.
Okay, sounds good. You guys take care.
Thanks, Bob.
Bob Holt, Arkansas Democrat Gazette.
We were 0 last year. We were all come see come saw on the turnover battle last year. So we got to be +7, +5.
Get into the plus.
That that 4-game stretch when we talk. I mean, I know we talk about it. We still got a while before we're there. But that winning the turnover battle in those 4 games, that's how you're going to be able to go 2-2.
Sometimes that is the way the ball bounces in a couple of ways, right?
It's a little fluky at times, like the Trey Knox one back. Like it's a little fluky. KJ shouldn't. Like he probably doesn't fumble that most of the time.
Fluky also sometimes means you're a little careless with the football.
Maybe it bounces our way this year.
Maybe it does, or maybe they're just better. Maybe everybody else is better too. I don't know, but we'll find out. We'll also be right back.
Hey, it's Joey and Ryan here at Red River Dodge. We're known for amazing deals, but this month it's going to be much better. Have you ever wanted to buy a Jeep Gladiator? Well, now's the time. Employee pricing rebates, 1.9% financing, and much more on select models.
Ram 1500s up to $13,000 off on select units.
So for all your new Ram, Dodge, Chrysler, Jeep,
make that beautiful drive to Heber Springs
during the Make This the Summer event.
And don't forget, at Red River, we deliver. God bless.
The best selection of RVs is now even better at Wheels RV in Springdale. Wheels RV has added Brinkley RVs to the already loaded lineup of Grand Design and Forest River products. See the Brinkley Model Z, the latest innovation in luxury fifth wheels. And like always, every new RV comes with a lifetime warranty, so you can camp with confidence. So stop in and find out why Wheels has been voted best RV dealer year after year. Wheels RV, 5 miles west of exit 72 off of I-49 in Springdale. Seek, explore, discover with Wheels RV.
This is halftime.
Do you want an exciting, fulfilling career with a great schedule, competitive pay, and never a boring day at work? The Fort Smith Fire Department is hiring 20 firefighters ages 18 to 35. We offer education incentives, tuition reimbursement, EMT and paramedic pay, and early promotion opportunities. Apply online before September 1st at fortsmithar.gov/fire department or find the link on our Facebook page. Come be one of Fort Smith's bravest. Apply today with the Fort Smith Fire Department.
The biggest and best selection of 2023 and 24 Fords is at Harry Robinson's Salisaw Ford. Harry Robinson has a great selection in stock and over 24 new Fords on the way. F-150s, the all-new Broncos, Mach-E Mustangs, and the super popular Ford Maverick. Plus, get financing as low as 0% on a new Ford. And Harry Robinson has never and will never charge over MSRP. The best selection of new Fords is at Harry Robinson's Salisaw Ford, 1 mile south of exit 308 off of I-40 in Salisaw.
all. Why do people love Shamrock Liquor Warehouse? Simple. They've got it all. 70 years in business, 15,000 square feet of choices. They buy in volume so you can save. What else? How about the largest selection of everything? Shamrock's got it. Special orders? Shamrock's got it. Convenient drive-through, open 6 days a week? Shamrock's got it. Need a keg for your party? Shamrock's got it. Load up at Shamrock Liquor Warehouse at the corner of Midland and Riverfront Drive in Fort Smith.
Joe's Grill and Cantina is making the middle of the week something to look forward to. Wednesdays is Nacho Average Wednesday. Get $1 off all nachos every Wednesday and try the all-new ballpark-style pork nachos. And draft or bottled beers are $1 off. Every Thursday is Throwback Thursday. Enjoy some of the old Cuco's classic platters, just the way you remember them. Joe's Grill and Cantina. Great Tex-Mex, even better service. 3400 South 74th Street, across from Harps in Fort Smith.
Do you need gutters but think they're too expensive or that you need to get the soffit or fascia ready? No worries. Call the Gutter Guy. He does it all. No need to call multiple companies to get the right gutters for your home. Call the Gutter Guy. Quality, low maintenance, leaf-free gutters with a 5-year warranty. The Gutter Guy also does vinyl siding and windows. The Gutter Guy. Over 30 years experience. Call 226-1259. Call the Gutter Guy.
Come get you some. 2728 Townsend Avenue is your off-road and performance center headquarters. They've got everything from lift kits, wheels, LED light bars, UTV parts and accessories, winches and tires. Need general 4x4 repair? No problem. Come Get You Some has one of the largest 4x4 shops in the States. They do it all, from installing a bug shield to building some of the baddest off-road machines in the country. Call them today at 782-6833. That's 782-MUD. Or check them out online at cgysoffroad.com. Come get you some.
Don't miss Hog Reaction this fall, presented by Teague Law Firm and Signature Bank. Heard all across ESPN Arkansas and hitthatline.com.
You don't talk to no one, don't you look at nothing. Focus on me, look into my eyes. Come a little closer, let me tell you something. Eat your ego, honey, swallow your pride. You don't talk to no one, don't you look at nothing. Focus on me, look into my eyes. Come a little closer, let me tell you something. You ain't going anywhere, 'cause you're mine. 'Cause you're mine. I used to be a rifle, yeah, I had my distance. Whistling like a bullet in the sky. I used to be a psycho, yeah, I had my demons. Curling like a spider up my spine. I spotted you the second I walked in the building. I knew that you would let me get you high. I wanna hear the things you say when no one's listening, but that don't matter anyway.
Welcome back to Halftime with Phil Elson and Matt Jones. Got a question or comment for the guys? Call or text on the McClarty Daniel hotline, 877-377-6963. Let's get back to the show with the voice of Arkansas Razorback baseball, Phil Elson, and Razorback football legend, Matt Jones.
Everybody remember when the SEC was able to get Texas and Oklahoma to move over to this league 2 years ago. Of course, they're not even in the league yet, but they will be. It was 2 years ago they made the announcement, and we knew it would happen. And today is the 2-year anniversary of what everybody else in college sports thought they would do to answer the fear that that move engendered across some of the other leagues. The ACC, the Big Ten, and the Pac-12 2 years ago announced the alliance, which was supposed to be the thing that stabilized all three of those leagues. They were going to work together on progressing college sports moving forward. They were going to have a scheduling alliance, and I didn't see anywhere in the announcement about the alliance that you were going to have one of those leagues basically eat the other league, one of those other leagues, alive.
Red Rovers in the Pac-12 on over. That's right. There was not much of alliance there. The Pac-12 just dissolved right in front of our eyes.
And it was the Big Ten that did it to them. And it was the Big 12 that lapped up the leftovers. The alliance. What a great
There you go. That
joke
should be
that
one of the.
was.
That can be one of the new conferences. The alliance. There's one of them right there. Whatever 18, 16 team rig you want to go with.
Alliances haven't lasted very long. You remember the AAF, one of the minor league football leagues? That lasted less than half a season, and this thing lasted like it wasn't ever really a thing anyway.
I'd be all in with the Cactus League and the Grapefruit League. You know, you can do anything that you want to go like that. I'd be all in if we started naming it like that. The Grapefruit League, oh, man, that would be all in.
Go to Eduardo in Clarksville, the Vuvuzuela, who's here with us on Halftime today. Good afternoon, Eduardo. What is new?
What's going on, gentlemen? I tell you what, the bell is starting to ring, and you know the bell has been used for centuries in sporting events. It's to give warning. And I'm asking the fan base, can you hear that bell ringing today? Because it's the start of the season, and to give warning, you need to bring it to the stadium. I didn't like, when I seen on SEC, the top 5 toughest environments in the SEC to play, and we didn't make the list. Well, we can do something about it. I tell you what, when you go to that stadium this year, when you stand up and call the Hogs, you do it with passion. Because if you don't believe, if your flames are not burning, how are the flames going to burn in our program? And that flame must never die, because it burns in me just like, the excitement's starting to burst out of me. I got on the Hawk train 51 years ago in Little Rock, Arkansas. And Brian, are you listening when you say nothing about passion with Arkansas and Texas, the Woo Pig Suey versus the Hook'em Horns? Well, you better look a little closer, son, because that day, woo, when y'all rode into Little Rock, I was 7 years old, and we put a whooping on you, son. Go to your history books. We had a legendary quarterback, Joe Ferguson. Lift your tails up, son. And I tell you what, I think K.J. Jefferson this year, if you can't get excited about that, it's going to light some tails up. How do you win in the SEC? Well, you better have a quarterback. How do you win in the SEC? You better have a running game. Well, whoa, we got 2 of those. And how do you really win in the SEC is on defense. And you better have some dudes. Whoa, and we got the dudes. So I say, we'll see you on the playing field. And I'm asking where your flame's at today. Because to me, I was listening to you talk, Phil. Whoa, I can't wait. I'm not Ric Flair. I'm not the Nature Boy, but I'm giving warning. Can you hear the bell?
Eduardo, we're not asking you to be anything or anybody that you're not. Just be the best version of the Vuvuzuela that you possibly can be. And I do hear the bell ringing. It's still stuck in my ears from being in Starkville last year. I don't know if I'll ever get that sound out of my head. The bell. When I think of the bell, I think of Texas Tech has a bell ringer. I've seen a video of that guy that's not too And then I think of Mississippi State, and I really don't want to think about the cowbell very much. But you're talking about a different kind of a bell,
the Benjamin Franklin bell.
Yes,
yeah.
A Liberty sort of a bell, something that gongs just a little deeper than the cowbell does.
Well, sir, I like Houston Nutt. You know what? He was a great motivator. He always had his team ready to play. He didn't care. He didn't back down from nobody. Hey, he had our teams, and most of the time we did.
Eddie, I'm going to cut in real quick here, man. You bring up the bell all the time. You bring up Hog Delight. I know you've got Hog Delight recipe in your recipe folder. Do you have a bell at the house?
I carry it with me, sir. I got it in the back seat. But I tell you what, I'm starting to ring it today because, fleet drivers are coming in at the D.C., and sometimes when I work the gate, they say, "Are you Eddie from Clarksville?" And I blow the daggum whistle.
Well, I would think so. Hey, I mean, Eddie, you refer to these. You refer to the whistle. You refer to the bell all the time. I'm imagining that you might actually sleep with the bell in one arm and the whistle in the other.
Well, sir, I tell you what, I love. The meaning of the bell is you say, "Let's get it on." And to me, when I listened a while ago, what's it take to win those games down the stretch? Well, how about this one? I'll end it with this. You know there was a big hit in 1973, and it just falls down by Bachman Turner, taking care of business, and that's what we're going to do.
Eduardo, one more thing before you go, because you just mentioned it, but you've never brought this artist up before. Marvin Gaye is the one who said, let's get it on. He just said it a little bit differently. Thank you, Eduardo, for listening to our show.
For Whom the Bell Tolls. Little Metallica right there, yeah.
Just picturing Eduardo listening to Let's
He
Get
said,
It On.
I got this thing in my car. Don't you quite? Hey, it's not even game week yet, Phil. He was excited. I thought we had a game tomorrow. I thought we were getting ready to go. Game week's next week.
I'm going to put in a request for Eddie and Charlie to synchronize their phone calls. For Eddie to call first, Charlie to call second, so that Eddie can do the hype and get Charlie. You know, because Charlie hates batting second after Ricky Henderson, Eddie in Clarksville leads off.
And then
so that's the way
second.
to do it.
Yeah, I think he might have stole second on that one too. Yeah.
Well, then Charlie can just knock him in next time.
Just base hit in the gap right there. Yep.
It works really well. 877-377-6963. If anybody dares to follow Eduardo in Clarksville, have right at it. Give it your absolute best shot. So ESPN runs college sports, doesn't it? Well, maybe not any longer because CBS, NBC, Fox, they're all in on this too, man. ESPN no longer really runs college sports, but they've got so many other leagues and sports under their banner that this one really caught me by surprise. There's a tech analyst, a Wall Street tech analyst named Dan Ives, who earlier in the week told CNBC that he views that Apple will eventually buy ESPN for all the rights that ESPN owns across the sports landscape. Think of it. SEC, Big 12, Formula One, MLS, Grand Slams in tennis, PGA, NHL, Major League Baseball, NBA, NFL. That's just about everything.
And they got La Liga. And they got so that's the Spanish soccer league. I don't know. I think Fox has the Bundesliga, which that's German, and then NBC has the Premier League, which that's the English league. They might have ESPN might have Italian. I know they got they either got Italian and French too, but I know they got the Spanish league.
Well, Iger, who runs Disney, has publicly talked about the idea potentially of changing the business model for ESPN, direct to subscriber potentially. This is a way that it could get done, and Disney would be able to wash their hands of it and make a tidy profit in the same way. This analyst Dan Ives projects a $50 billion price tag for ESPN. Apple's got that money. It's a company that's worth near $3 trillion.
Well, it's like we've talked about, Phil. It's the last appointment viewing thing on TV. There's nothing else that you got to get to watch live. Everything else, you stream it when you want to. I guess some people go to the movies every once in a while, but for most people, you get your media, you get your information whenever you want it. You don't have to show up on time, and sports is the last thing that you have to. I can't think of anything else. I mean, you show up on time and you watch it as a group, and then that's it,
And Apple already made their move into sports. I mean, they got their Friday Night Baseball. They've got MLS. And if they already have people on Apple Plus, there's plenty of shows that I've watched on Apple Plus. Ted Lasso, top of the list, man. They've been into sports. This is a way for Apple to grow it, and it may be, very well may be, Apple's next big thing. And it may be a total changing of what we know watching sports on whatever television is going to be next is like. Open up the phone lines. Our McClarty Daniel hotline is 877-377-6963. We'll wrap up hour number 2 after a quick break.
The dog days of summer will soon turn to fall hunting seasons, and Jelco Outdoors in Fort Smith has the all-new compound and crossbows for archery season. Great brands like Hoyt, Matthews, Elite, 10 Point, Wicked Edge, Raven, Missoon, and more. Now is the time to get ready for archery season at Jelco Outdoors, your local hunting and outdoor store. Jelco Outdoors, 4600 South Zero in Fort Smith. Remember, a great hunt begins at Jelco Outdoors.
Gray Brothers Equipment understands the importance of your hay crop, and they're ready to help with quality Kubota products like Kubota rotary disc mowers, Kubota brand wheel hay rakes, and VV round balers attached to Kubota's M-Series cab tractor. Together, Kubota and Gray Brothers will make your hay days fun again. That's Gray Brothers Equipment in Fort Smith and Photo, where if you pick orange, you'll never get a lemon.
Frank Rowe Furniture is your family-owned furniture, appliance, and electronics store. We have been servicing the area for 38 years with quality products and service after the sale. Frank Rowe Furniture offers a no-pressure sales atmosphere where you can actually enjoy shopping for your furniture. We also offer in-store, no-credit check financing. Don't wait weeks to be able to take your furniture you purchase home. Stop by and we will load you up today. Family-owned, service after the sale, and no-credit check financing. Frank Rowe Furniture, 405 4th Street, Marlin, Arkansas. Best seats in the house.
What makes a meal magical? Maybe it's coming home to smiling faces and the aroma of the grill. Maybe magic is the moment you finally get the secret ingredient to Mom's signature mac and cheese. Who knows, magic might just be as simple as meeting up with a friend to share a number 2 with fries and extra ketchup. One thing's for certain, magic shouldn't be hard because it's everywhere. All it takes is mixing the right ingredients, good company, great food, and ice-cold Coca-Cola. And then, voila, you'll have a recipe for magic.
The spring allergy and hay fever seasons are here, and Law's Drugstore has what you need to safely take care of you and your family. Law's Drugstore can fill and refill your prescriptions, and they have all of the over-the-counter allergy remedies to provide comfort. Call 452-6116 and ask about vaccine shot appointment for shingles, pneumonia, COVID, and whooping cough. Law's Drugstore, 6802 Rogers Avenue behind the Outback Steakhouse. Law's Drugstore, open 6 days a week to safely care for you and your family.
Elite Roofing is a locally owned roofing contractor. If you're building a new home or maybe need a new roof on your existing home, Elite Roofing can take care of you. Elite Roofing is known for their dependability and reliability. Just ask any of their satisfied customers. They are licensed and insured, and references are available upon request. If you need a roof, call your local roofing contractors. Elite Roofing, 478-8668. That's 478-8668. Elite Roofing, 478-8668.
Hi folks, Larry Rath here for Rath Auto Resources and the Meineke Car Care Center, where we are keeping you rolling with the end of summer sales drive. Now through September 9th, every Rath road-rated vehicle in our inventory is marked down with discounts up to $5,150. Plus, we're giving away a car. That's right, a car. It's fun and it's free. Just follow us on Facebook to see how you can register to win today. Big savings. One more reason all the happiest drivers are rolling with Rath. Rath Auto Resources and the Meineke Car Care Center, just north of Phoenix on Towson, Fort Smith.
I want barbecue that's sliced thick, smoked long, and so tender it melts in your mouth. Sides that will fill me up like a twice-baked potato, baked beans, hand-cut fries, okra, Texas toast. You know what I'm talking about? A restaurant where the whole family can go and get a great meal for a great price. Where the owner actually comes to your table to make sure everything tastes great. I'll tell you what I want. I want Jerry Neal's.
Your home for every Razorback football, basketball, and baseball game. ESPN 95.3.
Hey, Surrey! Cool cat vibe, yeah, yeah, yeah. Cool cat vibe, yeah, yeah, yeah. Incoming flight of the colored Alamo. Cool cat, pink is the new black. Cool cat vibe, yeah, yeah, yeah. You got a cool cat vibe, yeah, yeah, yeah.
Find Halftime on 99.5 in Northwest Arkansas, 95.3 in Fort Smith and the River Valley, 96.3 in Hot Springs and Central Arkansas, 104.3 in Harrison and Mountain Home, and everywhere on hitthatline.com. Join the conversation. Call or text ESPN Arkansas on the McClarty Daniel hotline, 877-377-6963. Now back to the hosts. Here's Phil Elson and Matt Jones.
Former Razorback decathlete Terry Prentice is now a former Razorback administrator. Terry, of course, he joined Halftime a couple of years ago when Arkansas, when NIL started to really ramp up. He was in charge of that on the administration side of things as the Razorbacks athlete brand development manager, and now he has joined Mississippi State, hired by Zach Selman yesterday as the Bulldogs Deputy Athletics Director and General Manager of Student Athlete Brand Services and Business Development, which sounds like potentially the same thing. I'm not sure, but he's a great guy and does great work, and he's a successful athlete, and he's built himself a great career in college sports, and he'll be very successful at Mississippi State. So good luck to Terry in his next stop, which, of course, is not all that far away. This year, Matt Jones, basketball players in the world of college basketball don't have to choose numbers that are lower than 6. And so the numbers are out on the Arkansas men's basketball roster. Number 9 is available if you want it, because every number 0 through 8 is taken. 10 through 12 is taken as well, but nobody chose number 9.
Low digits are where it's at. I'm telling you, even in my youth, if you're a low digit, that means you're making plays. You see it in our backfield. KJ Jefferson, number 1. Rocket Sanders, number 5. DeBinion, AJ Green, low numbers. That's just a number. Low number. You make plays. They don't say get your name in the newspaper anymore, do they? They don't. They say
they might say it, but they don't really know what it means.
They say go viral, or go TikTok and whatever. Yeah.
Is that the same thing? It used to be, hey, I saw my name in the paper today.
Get your name in the paper. That's right. Hey, go out there and make a play.
Trending on social media today.
Right. Yeah.
That's exactly right. Khalif Battle will be wearing 0. Keon Menafield won't be playing this year, but he's 1. Trevin Brazil remains number 2. L. Ellis, who's from Louisville, number 3. Devo, of course, is number 4. Joseph Pinion, now number 5. Layden Blocker has chosen number 6. Denijay Harris, who transferred from Southern Miss, he's the last addition to the team, number 7. Chandler Lawson is wearing 8. Bayfall, 10. Jalen Graham, looks like he's grown an inch, 6'10". I think he was 6'9" last year.
He's still 11?
He's 11.
Yeah.
And Tremont Mark will wear number 12. And then Mekhi Mitchell, 15. Kate Arbogast, 21. Jeremiah Davenport, 24. Blake Lawson, 45. So the only numbers that are above 5 are the single-digit numbers.
How cool. Hey, this team, they better be ready to make plays then. That sounds I like it. It sounds like they're confident, and, like you said, the propaganda machine that the Hogs Plus is, just the stuff they trend out there. They're not telling you everything, just what you want to see, and you get to see some of that stuff in basketball practice and some of the plays they make, and, man, they're making some plays.
So I'm looking on the women's roster, and it's been updated. It is the new roster for 23-24 for Mike Neighbors' team. And I don't know if women's basketball has been restricted to the numbers below 5, because nobody is above 5 on the roster there. And then we even got the new players here. Carly Keats, 23. Jenna Lawrence, 34. Let's see, Talia Scott, 0. A little discrepancy. Anyway, we'll be into hour number 3 in just a moment. Call us or text us on the McClarty Daniel hotline at 877-377-6963. We'll be right back.
Hey, this is Jason Christie from Park Hill, Oklahoma, the 2022 Bassmaster Classic champion. I'm excited to tell you about the Booyah Poppin' Pad Crasher Jr. It is a smaller version of the Poppin' Pad Crasher, and it's a bait I'm going to use all summer on the Arkansas River. Frog fishing is one of my favorite things to do when summer fishing, and Poppin' Pad Crasher Jr. is the right size and has the right hook set up to catch them. It's available at lurenet.com and tackle stores everywhere. The Booyah Poppin' Pad Crasher Jr.
You don't want to see cracks in your pipes or your plumber. Let West Dark Plumbing get you right for the summer. We tuck in our shirts and work, we're experts. So if things don't blow your way, we can get it to work. Say no to cracking, we'll give you 20 back. 646-5151. Looking for a plumber, call and they'll give you one. 646-5151. Looking for a plumber, call and they'll give you one. Say no to crack and get 20 back. Yeah. Red Dark Plumbing, expert drain cleaning service. Say no to crack and get 20 back. Yeah.
This year, we considered hiring an ad agency to help with our marketing.
They pitched impressive visuals and a script that was inspiring.
And exotic animal mascots to help grab your attention.
In the end, we just decided to tell it to you straight. Shelter Insurance has award-winning customer service at affordable rates.
Plus, our local agents are there to help you understand what coverage you need.
Call Ted McAvoy in Van Buren or Chris Dooley in Fort Smith.
If this were a Reese's TV ad, you'd be staring at a Reese's peanut butter cup. And sure, my voice is peanut buttery smooth, but still, you need to see the peanut butter cups, right? No? I can really just say Reese's and you'll go get some? Okay, Reese's. 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 Really working, actually. Reese's. Reese's. I'm on to something. Reese's. Reese's. Reese's.
Riley Farm Dental, at the entrance to Riley Farms, provides every type of dental care and procedures for you and your family. General dentistry, braces, implants, and cosmetics. Drs. Sparkman, Nanda, and Farmer give all of their patients better lives with a better smile, more confident, and a comfortable experience every time. Riley Farm Dental, 5901 Riley Park Drive, Suite A, at the entrance to Riley Farms. Call 226-3500 for an appointment or visit RileyFarmDental.com.
ESPN Arkansas weather.
For today, lots of sunshine. It's going to be a hot and sticky day. Our high this afternoon, upper 90s to low 100s. A heat index right around 110 to 113. Partly cloudy, mid to upper 70s tonight. Friday, sunshine. Our high will be into the upper 90s to low 100s. I'm Sally Russell with your forecast on ESPN Arkansas.
The weather is brought to you by Come Get You Some, Arkansas's premier off-road superstore. Call 782-MUD today. KERX Paris Fort Smith. The Bud Light Countdown is on. Arkansas football begins in 9 days. Broadcasting on ESPN Arkansas and streaming on hitthatline.com.
We got a good one tonight. You got a team in here that doesn't respect you.
Live from the Busch Light Studios.
Don't ask me if I'm all right. Joaquin said dominate, and we not doing it.
We're going to go get one and celebrate on somebody else's field.
Matt Jones may take it to the house and the dunk.
Phil said you had very motivational words at halftime.
It's halftime with Phil Elson and Matt Jones.
From the bottom of my toes to the top of my head. I put my heart up. Let's go, man.
Probably as frustrated as I've been the first half.
Do we believe?
Second half, very happy.
Is vintage Matt Jones. 1, 2, 3. Turn that down,
Call or text on the McClarty Daniel hotline, 877-377-6963. Now, here's Phil Elson and Matt Jones.
Into our third and final hour of halftime on a hot Thursday. Great to be with you on ESPN Arkansas and hitthatline.com. I'm Phil Elson, partners Matt Jones and Christian Johnston producing. You can get on our McClarty Daniel hotline with a call or a text at 877-377-6963. There's a game day, soccer, playing against Oregon tonight. I think they've moved that game back an hour to 7:30. So I think the sun is supposed to set about half an hour or so before that. So hopefully be a little bit cooler when number 10 Arkansas plays Oregon for the first time ever. And we get some baseball games going right now, including the Yankees trying to make it 2 wins in a row. See, Aaron Judge at 3 homers yesterday as they snapped that 9-game losing streak. It's his first 3-homer game.
Is is he getting to become a guy that he kind of a bottom feeder? Like you have these soccer players that they'll have 18 goals, but it'll all be against the teams in the bottom half of the table. It won't be in the big moments. Does he have any big moment hits? Like does he show up, or does he kind of shrink as the moment gets bigger?
He's had some moments in the postseason that have been
because these are 3 home runs that don't matter. They're not making the playoffs. That doesn't. We know what's going on.
Well, I mean, keep in mind that one of the reasons the Yankees have really struggled this year is that Judge was out for a long time with that toe injury that he suffered at Dodger Stadium. But unless they make some changes, and Cashman yesterday said the season's been a disaster, and they'll have to evaluate his job and Aaron Boone's job and just about everything else in that organization. Hitting coach, pitching coach, all the way down. You're not going to change the ownership. The Steinbrenner family's going to hold on to that for as long as they can. They can change some other things, and hey, they got the money to do it. But then again, they got money tied up in some players that nobody's going to want, including Giancarlo Stanton.
That one. Whoa, that's a bad deal right there.
A's were shut out by the Royals yesterday 4-0, and now I remember I'm going to keep track of this. 304 runs they've been outscored by. I think they need another 36 to have their record.
Maybe they should make the Yankees coaches, and they should have to go coach the Oakland Athletics next.
Ooh.
Yeah, that should be a thing.
You know how from the top to the bottom as far as payroll.
Yeah, for the Senior Bowl, like if you finish last, you get to go coach the Senior Bowl. It's like you need to go get some help.
What would be more miserable, though? Being around the A's where you get 3,000 people in your games and you're going to be moving probably in a couple of years, or to be around something like the Yankees where there's expectations of the World Series every year and they haven't sniffed one since 2009. And I don't know what the attendance is like, but it can't be the best atmosphere because you know what New York fans are like when their teams are not doing well.
Mm-hmm. They'll let
Subway
you know about
Series
it.
Would be a lot of fun to be on the Mets and the Yankees these days, wouldn't it?
They'll let you know about it.
Benny had a big 2-run single yesterday to help the White Sox beat Seattle 5-4. So Mike Trout is back on the injured list with a wrist. That's what caused Benintendi to miss quite a bit of last year. Remember, he was traded to the Yankees at the deadline. That was a big move that they tried to make. But he had the wrist injury last year, which sapped him of his power. And I kind of wonder, you remember when Benny first played at Arkansas, his freshman year, 2014, he had the hamate bone injury, which I think is the same thing Trout has. And that really is a power-sapping kind of an injury. And I guess it sometimes would depend on what hand. Benny's a left-handed hitter, but he has a right-hand injury. But I think that's still that wrist has not been 100% this year. And we all know what he did the second year at Arkansas, and the hamate bone was fully healed, and his strength was back where it should be. And I would expect Benny to come back next year. Like, he's not having a terrible year, but for a guy who had 20 home runs his first full season in the majors, he's only hit 3 home runs this year. He's got 25 doubles or something like that, but I view Benny as somebody that could and maybe should hit 15, 18 home runs a year. I could see him getting back to that level next year just based on the idea of, you come back from these wrist injuries and you can play, but you're not quite as strong. Your power is different. And I think next year Benny could have a huge year. I just don't know who's going to be managing him or running the White Sox because that's a failure from the word go.
Is that injury connected to his thumb? I know when you talk to quarterbacks, and I wonder if it's the same with hitters. If you can't grip with that thumb and that index finger, you don't have any power, you don't have any grip, you don't have any strength. Your other 3, you can try to find a way and you can kind of finagle something out and get it going. But your index finger and your thumb, if anything's connected to there, man, you kind of do lose all your power.
Got a question in on the McClarty Daniel hotline. Cody from Bentonville wants to talk about the safety position, losing Slusher and Catalan. Of course, Catalan barely played last year. Slusher was in and out of the lineup and then didn't play the last couple of games. And they both moved on to Texas schools. Slusher went to Baylor, but you ended up getting a couple of the safeties from Baylor. Al Walcott, he's going to start. And Snacks Johnson is also going to start, though I think Snacks is going to be at the hog position, more of a nickelback. And then Hudson Clark, I think just by not moving position from cornerback to safety, hopefully, and a little bit bigger and focused in on. He can make the tackles. I think we focused that he missed he missed some tackles last year. He brought some guys to the ground too. That's what I see at safety. I think it's, some of it has to do with, who's able to stay healthy. Because if you add Catalon healthy last year, now I don't know what Jalen Catalon will be like as a healthy player because we've never seen him be fully healthy for 2 years. So I don't know. I would assume he would have been good because he looked good as a freshman.
The thing Hudson Clark does is he reacts quick. And to be a safety in this league, you have to read your keys. You can't get lost with your eyes. You have to understand the concepts. You have to be able to communicate because you have to react when it's a run play and get up there and be a run fit. And then also if it's not, man, you can't bite on that play fake. You have to be able to react and see, read your keys, study film. Being a safety is it's tough. And your team – by your defensive line and your safety, those are those can make your team just next level. And it sounds like we're going to have that defensive line. If we got a safety that will react, can come up and run fit, take his proper angles, and then not get beat over the top on play action, that seemed to happen when Catalon was out. We were getting thrown. They were throwing over the top on us. Can't have that happen if you're going to have any success.
Middle of the field was a real problem last year for Arkansas in the secondary.
Can't get lost with your eyes. That's right. You gotta see, read your keys, and you gotta react, and you gotta make play. You kind of gotta want to, man. It's like taking a charge, man. If you're a safety, you gotta get in there and make that tackle, because if you get too much space. That's with our running backs, too, in any safety. You give our running backs, and then you don't close that space down. When he breaks through that first line, and then all of a sudden the safety's 7 yards deep still, there's not enough space. You got to close that into 3 yards, 2 yards, come and fill that gap in to protect from the big play.
Yeah, I got some of my guys mixed up here. Keytron Jackson went to Baylor. Miles Slusher originally committed to Louisville. He's at Colorado instead. You realize how difficult it is to keep up with all of this.
Because
Slusher committed somewhere else and then flipped a transfer portal flip.
And a COVID year all over the place. So some of these kids still get 6 years.
Talking with Gino Bell in just a moment about the defensive line and anything else we can touch on with Gino, but I don't know any other position group that has been talked about more in a positive sense than this one. Maybe the running backs would rival what we're hearing from the defensive line. But that's because we've seen these running backs at Arkansas, and they've done well. From the defensive line, man, you have depth that maybe you've never seen before.
That's a good thing. You'll see coaches, man, Phil, you'll see coaches. Del Rio was like this. Houston Nutt was like this. Those first two possessions of the game, both ways, man, they're standing right. They're straddling the line of scrimmage. They want to see that push. They want to see who's coming to play today. And a lot of times that tells you how the game's going to go.
Would love to be able to see a defensive line that can, quote-unquote, impose their will, which means collapse that pocket, make the quarterback uncomfortable. If you can make a quarterback uncomfortable, well, then you can force some turnovers. Mm-hmm. You can force some bad throws.
We had too many quarterbacks last year, Phil, have career days. I mean, you just go down the list, and they were having career day after career day when they were playing the Arkansas Razorbacks.
And that was even with a decent pass rush.
Mm-hmm.
But Drew Sanders and Jordan Dominic were most of your pass rush in terms of at least success. Quarterback pressures, quarterback hits, and sacks, and really tackles for loss too. You had to find a way to replace that, and it feels like your pass, it wasn't just focused on those two, but those were your more successful defenders at getting to the quarterback. I think there's a few more guys that can get to the quarterback this year. And I think Landon Jackson's at the top of the list. Could we potentially be seeing Landon Jackson get somewhere near double-digit sacks?
How cool would that be? That's a game changer right there, and that'd be. And you're right. Get the quarterback, be disruptive, get the quarterback off his spot, make him uncomfortable. We can win the turnover battle.
Gino Bell in just a moment, but hey, you got to remember about next Saturday before Arkansas and Western Carolina get things going. We've got Arkansas Game Day live at CJ's Butcher Boy Burgers in Russell.
This video is powered by the pros at Pascal Air Plumbing and Electric. Arkansas owned, Arkansas operated. GoPascal.com.
Fall season is just around the corner, and I know all of us are looking for that wholesome, convenient meal. Well, look no further than Factor, America's #1 ready-to-eat meal kit. They can help you with chef-prepared, dietitian-approved, ready-to-eat meals delivered right to your door. And right now, use the code HTL50. Head to factormeals.com/HTL50 and get 50% off. That's code HTL50 at factormeals.com to get 50% off, thanks to Hit That Line. The great thing about Factor, over 34 weekly prepared meals that you can choose from. Plus, you don't have to run around to worry about where you're getting lunch. Let Factor take care of it for you. Let me tell you the code one more time to help you get 50% off. Factormeals.com/HTL50. Factormeals.com/HTL50. Factor, America's #1 ready-to-eat meal kit.
Call or text the McClarty Daniel hotline at 877-377-6963. McClarty Daniel, a vehicle for every lifestyle.
When you're looking for a new car, you want to shop for a vehicle you love with an organization you trust. You've probably heard that McClarty Daniel means making deals, but what I'm inspired by the most is that McClarty Daniel means making a difference in our community. When you buy a vehicle with McClarty Daniel, you reinvest right here in the community, in our schools, in our little leagues, in our food banks, and our people. So you're not just making a purchase, you're making a difference too. Come see us at any of our 6 locations in Northwest Arkansas.
Tommy Kraft here. When it came time for new gates and some fence repairs at my home, the Fence Man was my first call. The Fence Man does it all, from large commercial jobs to small residential repairs. Wood privacy fence, vinyl fence, commercial or residential chain link, even custom wrought iron fencing. 479-782-3936. 18 months, same as cash financing with approved credit is now available. If it involves fencing, the Fence Man does it. The Fence Man. He ain't afraid of no work. 479-782-3936.
A dandy white perch. Big old slab. C'est bon, sacalé.
One beautiful crappie.
It's a paper mouse.
Some serious crappie.
Nice speck.
We got crappie.
They might go by different names, but all prefer the same thing. Bobby Garland, America's favorite white perch, slab, sockeye, papermouth, crappie, speck, crappie baits.
I call it dinner.
Rockwell and Orwell are both known for their work from 1984. It's no conspiracy that somebody's watching me, because the terms and agreements that no one reads is the reason there's no privacy. Big Tech is tracking every move you make and is starting to control society and how you participate. Absolute power corrupts absolutely, and Revelation 13 describes a mark for those who fall for this utopian dream. I'm Pastor Eve from Woodland. Read about it.
BetOnline is your #1 source for all your betting needs. Get the latest odds, lines, and matchup reports for baseball, boxing, golf, and more. BetOnline continues to be the fastest and easiest way to place your wagers, including live betting and your favorite casino and card games available to play right from your phone. Head to the website or use your mobile device to sign up today and get in on the action. Remember to use our promo code BELIEVE, that's BLEAV, for your 50% welcome bonus on your first deposit. Bet online, where the game starts.
Looking for an African adventure without the hassle of planning? Kruger Safari Club has got you covered. Our custom hunting and safari packages take care of everything from transportation to accommodations, so you can focus on enjoying the experience of a lifetime. With our team's extensive knowledge of the best hunting and safari spots in South Africa, Mozambique, and Zimbabwe, you'll have access to some of the most breathtaking views and exciting game hunting opportunities on the planet. And with our commitment to ethical hunting and giving back to the local community, you'll know that your trip with us is making a positive impact. Book your trip now and let us take care of the rest. Find out more at KrugerSafariClub.com.
Are you looking for the best Razorbacks insight and analysis?
Hell yes.
How about listening to an Arkansas football legend?
Matt Jones, all he does is make big plays.
What's the voice of the Hogs have to say?
Hey, what a great crowd last night.
Don't forget about the Omahogs.
The Hogs are going to Omaha.
Matt Jones, Chuck Barrett, and Phil Elson, the best in the business on the Hit That Line Podcast Network. Go to hitthatline.com or search Hit That Line wherever you listen to podcasts. Don't forget to rate, review, subscribe, and share. You're listening to Halftime with Phil Elson and Matt Jones. Want to jump in the conversation? Call or text ESPN Arkansas on the McClarty Daniel Hotline, 877-377-6963. Now, here's Phil Elson and Matt Jones.
Let's go right to the McClarty Daniel Hotline, and the one and only Gino Bell is with us here on Halftime. Former Razorback defensive lineman, NFLer, and member of the Learfield broadcast crew. Gino, happy Thursday. How you doing?
Man, I'm outstanding. Happy Thursday to you guys. I'm just pumped. I mean, we're almost a week out from the first college football game, and it's unbelievable that summer has passed us, and we're getting ready for the upcoming season.
Making me smile just hearing your voice, Gino. I can just imagine. I can already see you across from Rick and smiling at me, and I'm ready to talk football with you for about 13 times, maybe 14. What do you think?
Man, I'm looking forward to you. I tell you, it's great to sit down with you, and when we get in that broadcast booth, it's so great to work with the best point guard in the game is you to kind of set us up, and so looking forward to get the game back again, and we always have a great time to talk Razorback football, but more so enjoy each other's company and great men and friendship.
So I hear the defensive line is supposed to be pretty deep and really talented and maybe a step or two up from what we saw production-wise from last year. That's your specialty, and you've got a few specialties, but I'd say defensive line play would be near the top of the list. You got to be pretty fired up for what you may see on the sidelines this year from those linemen.
Man, I'm beyond fired up. I know since Coach Pittman has been here, I can't believe, 4 years Coach Pittman is coming into, and he really hadn't had the talent that he's needed. And so these coaches have done a great job of going out recruiting talent, a lot of transfers that's come in, and again, everybody is getting transfer porter guys, but I think we've done an outstanding job. And when you talk about that defensive line, I went to the scrimmage last Saturday, and we have some dogs up front. And it hadn't been that way to go back since 2017 when I started with the broadcast team. But when you look at that defensive line up front, I think Coach Adams has done an outstanding job recruiting, going to get guys to come in and play up front. I think, as everybody knows, the defensive line is probably one of the toughest positions that's on the field just because of stopping the run. You got to be able to keep the offensive line off the linebackers, but also be able to pass rush. And when you pass rush, you become very tired as a defensive lineman. And we have about 8 players that we can rotate up front, and we didn't have that luxury in years past. And so I'm very excited. So I know when I was at the scrimmage last week just to see Landon Jackson, I mean, oh my gosh, 6'6", 6'7", he's 280 pounds, a massive man. Jeff Cole, the new guy that came in, I mean, he's going to be great for us. Of course, we have Gregory Ball that's going to play in the middle. Carter, Zach is coming back, and I mean, a couple of these freshmen we added. Oh my God, these guys are huge, and so it's excited to be able to look on the field and see defensive linemen that pass the eye test, that you can say that's a SEC defensive lineman that's ready to play in this league.
Gino, hey man, Matt Jones here. Keeping it with What's up, man? I was trying to keep it with the D line, and the linebacker would tell you their best friend is a good D line, a good up front. When that being said, how do you think our linebackers are going to be this year?
Man, I really think our linebackers are going to do well. When I think about Pupal, I think he's going to come out and play well. He played a lot of minutes last year, but he also leads by example when he's out on the field. I know last week he didn't scrimmage, but as I was talking to him, looking at him, I mean, he's ready to play. As I think of Crook, I think he's going to be a solid linebacker that's going to come out and play very well, that's going to be very active. And then also we added Antonio Greer. That's going to be very solid. So when you think about that middle and having that rotation, it's going to be solid. But, when you got guys up front that'll be able to keep those offensive linemen from reaching and chip blocking and getting into that second level, it's going to be great. The other thing that's going to be great is about just the overall total defense. When you think about Travis Williams, it's not where we're just going to line up and just sit there and let the guys the offense come off the ball and come at us. I mean, this defense is going to be moving. And when I went to the scrimmage last week, it was just great to hear the communication, the calling out of the offensive plays. And when the ball was snapped, you saw 11 hats get to the football. And the most important thing is the stemming. I mean, these guys are moving, corners and secondary. Folks are moving up and down. And I know we bring in some pressure, which, I love pressure because you keep the offense unbalanced when they don't know where that free person is coming. And so I'm excited to see what Travis Williams is able to do with the defense. But he's putting the players in a great position. He's coaching to the talent that he has versus trying to make a scheme fit the players. And so I'm excited to see these guys get after it. And I tell you, I was pretty impressed over last scrimmage when our guys were playing man coverage. And I can't remember the last time we played man coverage in the secondary. If anything, we were dropping 8 to kind of stop the pass. But these guys are pressing, bringing coverage, and I'm very excited about what this defense is going to do.
And Phil, Jordan Crook, he's a Duncanville, Texas guy. I believe we just had a basketball player that was pretty sharp from Duncanville, Texas. Anthony Black, I think he was from there. And Gino, can you kind of help explain to some of the listeners and to people, like when you talk about stemming, is that kind of real similar to the correlation on offense of like shifts and motions?
Exactly right. So I know you know about that. So when you're doing shifts and motions, the same thing on defense. You may line up in the A gap. As the quarterback comes up and calls out Mike, you shift. The same thing when a motion starts, you may line up in a cover 2, and then you may shift the quarters at the snap of a ball. You may show blitz, and them linebackers walk up into the A gap like they're getting ready to blitz through the hole, and they drop back and force the quarterback to make coverages, coverage changes and line shifts. And so playing football is one thing being physical, but 90% of it is being mental and ensuring that you can get people to jump, move, and make mistakes in the pre-snap, that you could be able to be aggressive once the ball is snapped.
What you read the scrimmage last week? We hear Sam Pittman, and I think some of the other guys mentioned that the chemistry on the team so far is good. But I think for a lot of teams, it would be right about now. And it's difficult in the free agency era, the transfer portal era, for continuity amongst teams. And not everybody that shows up at the same time is going to get along. Sometimes it takes a year or so for guys to figure things out about each other. But from what they're saying, on a defense at least, where you have brought in literally an entire unit out of the transfer portal, are you seeing a team that looks at least cohesive and chemistry? And again, I don't know. Can you really quantify chemistry in August, or is that something that we really figure out once you get into maybe early October, mid-October?
No, I think you figure out chemistry during the summer. And as I was looking at practice, I tell you, these guys are getting along. They're joking on the sideline. They're very engaged in the scrimmage and with each other. I would tell you, when I think about Ben Stouter, the strength coach, he's been phenomenal. I've had the opportunity this past week to spend about 15, 20 minutes just talking to him. And I tell you, this guy gave me goosebumps and ready to go. And when the guys spend that much time with the strength coach during the summer, that sets the tone for your program. And so with this being his first year from Louisville, He brought a great staff in with him. And when you're able to look at these players, you know, one, they look bigger on the field. They're in shape. They're moving faster. And you can tell that he's a great leader because these guys respect him and because he holds them accountable. And I think all of us like guidelines and boundaries, but long as you model the behavior that you want others to see, I think that's exactly what Ben is doing. Coach Souter has done coming into the program, and I think Coach Pittman did an outstanding job of selecting him as coming in and really getting these guys in shape, really getting them focused on culture and brotherhood, and really getting out there playing together. Because at the end of the day, when you're sitting in that locker room, it's me against the world. It's us against the world. Regardless of what everybody else thinks, it's us, and we got to get out on the field and prove it.
Absolutely. And we're going to start seeing maybe some proof next Saturday. But the way the schedule works out, and you remember last year, it's like, hey, you get a pretty tough week 1 game, and then you're in the SEC week 2. And it almost felt like Missouri State caught the team by surprise last year because you were really ginned up for the first 2 games. Now the schedule has a nice natural ramping up where really, I mean, I think some of us might be overlooking that BYU game some. I think, you know,
they're going to be physical, man. They were last year. They were physical early. They're going to be an older team, and they'll hit you.
First couple of weeks, Gino, like they take care of business, and honestly, it shouldn't be that difficult. Week 3, you get a little difficulty, and then you know what those next 4 weeks look like after that.
I tell folks all the time is 1-0. Anybody can play you and beat you, and I know as a former player, you look at the schedule, and everybody kind of has their idea of how it goes. But the one thing you cannot underestimate is these Division II schools that come in and play, because in their mind, they're playing an SEC school. They're coming in, this is their national championship game, and it's their opportunity to really feel like, hey, I get a chance to play and show people what I can do. And so we need to bring our best game week in, week out. I don't think we're good enough to be able to chalk it up and say these are W's, but I'm excited about this team. I know we're going to put a great product on the field. I'm glad the ramp is there. When you have a new offensive coordinator, you have a new defensive coordinator, you potentially have 10 starters from the transfer portal that may start on both sides of the ball. That chemistry is important because nobody's played a game to this point. We all look good in practice until those lights come on and you got 60 minutes. And so I think that's important to get game speed, build the continuity with each other, have the communication, and really get out and have fun playing football. And I think that's what the first game is going to do to get the jitters out and then ramp yourself up into that SEC competition.
When you
go ahead.
Well, yeah, when you talk about the portal guys, what kind of goes in it to getting these portal guys in here, and how you evaluate the talent? And like you said, man, 10 guys could be starting that were portal guys. How does it? I mean, how does that evaluation process go?
I think that evaluation process go off your needs. And I really do believe once people come to Northwest Arkansas and put their eyes on Fayetteville and see the culture and see the area, it sells itself. And also, when you see some of these guys, and even at receiver, when you think of Tesla and Armstrong, these guys, even though they came from a lower-level school, but they caught a ton of balls last year. I mean, these guys caught a ton of balls. And now you're able to come up into a bigger conference year. They could have probably went to other schools, but when they know they have an opportunity to play, you play in the SEC, you play in the SEC West, which is the toughest side of the conference, people know what that means. And so everybody wants a little piece of that action. But what I think the X factor is Coach Pittman and his staff and the culture he has developed here at the University of Arkansas. And so when you're able to come into the university, yes, you can sell the program on X's and O's and say, hey, we're winning, we're building. But the one thing a lot of people don't sell at other universities is that you're not making a 2 or 4 year decision, you're making a 40-year decision. And I'm a live example of that, is that when you feel like you belong to the university, it's not a 4 years and done. When you feel like you're part of the culture, you feel like you're part of the team and you're part of the family, that lasts a lifetime. And I think that's what Coach Pittman has really brought back and is also showing that to the recruits and the young guys that come in.
Yeah, you are a great example of that. Gino, I can't let you go without asking what you might think of the other side of the ball. If you're at scrimmage, we hear so much about the defensive line, we worry a little bit about the Arkansas offensive line. What have you seen from that position?
Man, that offensive line looks stout. And so, I mean, when you look at Manuel at the left tackle, he's solid. When you think of Limmer, of course, Limmer and Latham coming back, I think Limmer is definitely, one of the best players in the SEC at that center position. Latham is solid. And then Kudos at the right tackle. Even though he's a freshman, I mean, he's came in and stepped up and really get after it. And of course, Coach Cody is a great offensive line coach. I think he's probably one of the best in the SEC, if not the country, and he really got these guys really going. The other thing that I think he's done a great job is recruiting. When you think about offensive line, you always want to be able to carry 8. 8 is kind of your magic number where you can kind of move people around. But in the past several years, we really hadn't had some depth at that offensive line. And I think we have some depth at that offensive line. If anything should happen, we should be able to move people around. And so when I think about our offense and defensive line, I really do believe they look the part. And, again, this offensive line is getting battle-tested every day going against this defensive line. And I think we all understand steel sharpens steel. And so when you're out there grinding every day, you're not brother-in-law, you're making each other better, you're pushing each other to the brink, that's what gets you game time ready when you get into the football game underneath the lights. So very excited of what this offensive line is going to do. And, again, we got to keep KJ upright. When you think about KJ and the things this guy looks good. I watched him last week. The ball looked good. He's big. He can run. I saw him get in open field, and I said, ooh, I pity the fool who tried to tackle him in open fild, because that dude is huge, man. I pity the fool.
I'm glad he's on our team. Yeah, Gino.
Hey, I am too. And the one thing that I am very excited about is even Jacoby Criswell. He transferred in from North Carolina, and I think his presence alone made KJ better. Even with KJ last year, when he got hurt, we really didn't have anybody who could step up and really fill them shoes. And I think we felt the pressure of that last year. But I think with Criswell being here, he's elevated KJ's game. And, he's a pretty good player, too. And I think all of us understand competition makes us better. Every day when you're out there competing for your job, you know that the man behind you can take your position. And the other thing it does is, hey, when you get in that training room, there's a difference between being hurt and injured. And so, when you think about people who hurt, they ain't going to be sitting down getting ice and doing those things. They're going to push through it because there's competition in the room. And this is a great place to be at Arkansas football 4 years under Coach Pittman, because I've seen the progress of the talent. I've seen the progress of the way these players and attitudes of the team. I know it's going to translate the wins on the scoreboard. And that's what we want, a great football team that represents the state of Arkansas, represents something greater than themselves, and I think we're going to get some W's this year.
Gino, you're the best. Looking forward to seeing you next Friday. I know we got a big dinner planned next Friday, so I hope you're there. Or if not, I'll see you at War Memorial, okay?
Man, you're going to see me. You can't miss me on those meals, man. When you're big, you actually got to work at it to stay big. So I'm looking forward to dinner. But I'm also looking to catch up with you guys, and Phil, it's always great to talk with you.
It most definitely is. I know you're a busy man, Gino, so thanks for making some time for us today.
Yes, sir. Y'all have a great one. See you later, Matt.
Thanks, Gino.
Gino Bell, former Razorback defensive lineman, sidelines for the radio broadcasting with me for pregame as well. You open that McClarty Daniel hotline, 877-377-6963.
Your best ability is availability. He's right. That's Coach used to say, you can't make the club in the tub. You got to get out of the trainer. Let's go. Your best ability is availability.
I kind of thought Gino might skip the Friday night dinner to allow himself an extra helping of the tailgate food in Little Rock next Saturday, but he's got enough appetite for 2 meals. And we're right back into the home stretch after this.
Tommy Smith for Bet Saracen. Hey, if you're like me and enjoy putting a little something on your favorite sporting event, then get Bet Saracen. Bet Saracen is Arkansas's #1 sports betting app. Download the app or go to BetSaracen.com. Oh, and by the way, I finally upgraded my 20-year-old flip phone so I can actually play too.
Bet Saracen is Arkansas's favorite sports wagering app.
Gambling problem? Call 800-522-4700.
Hello, this is Kevin Cowan at KC Insurance, and I just wanted to tell you all about plans that we have for Arkansans. It's through the Affordable Care Act, formerly known as Obamacare. Most Arkansans can qualify for a plan for $10 a month premium or below. We are located at 912 Highway 6265 North in Harrison, Arkansas, in the Ace Hardware Shopping Center. Give Ricky Cowan a call at 870-517-1207. Thank you.
This is halftime.
You don't wanna see cracks in your pipes or your plumber. Let Westburn Plumbing get you right for the summer. We tuck in our shirts and work, we're experts. So if things don't blow your way, we can get it to work. Say no to crack and we'll give you 20 back. 646-5151. Looking for a plumber, call and they'll give you one. 646-5151. Looking for a plumber, call and they'll give you one. Say no to crack and get 20 back, yeah. Westburn Plumbing, expert drain clean search. Say no to crack and get 20 back, yeah.
Riley Farm Dental, at the entrance to Riley Farms, provides every type of dental care and procedures for you and your family. General dentistry, braces, implants, and cosmetics. Drs. Sparkman, Nanda, and Farmer give all of their patients better lives with a better smile, more confident, and a comfortable experience every time. Riley Farm Dental, 5901 Riley Park Drive, Suite A, at the entrance to Riley Farms. Call 226-3500 for an appointment or visit RileyFarmDental.com.
What matters most to your family can now cost less. AOG can help you reduce your energy usage without giving up comfort and reliability. Seal and caulk windows. Change the filter on your furnace. Set your thermostat at 68. At AOGC.com, you'll find lots of energy-saving tips that can be done for little or no cost. While you're there, take advantage of AOG's other money-saving energy efficiency programs. Visit AOGC.com today and get more comfort for less cost.
Acker Funeral Home knows that thinking about the inevitability of one's death is a subject that few like to consider. For many, actually moving ahead with their pre-planning or prepaying for their funeral is even more difficult to act on. With a large number of options available today, it's important to speak to someone you can trust. Acker Funeral Homes in Van Buren, Alma, and Fort Smith, serving the community for over 100 years. Call 474-2523 for an appointment.
Hey, it's James Teague. Over the years playing baseball, I've grown accustomed to closing innings, but now I'm closing cases. With almost 30 years in the business, the Teague Law Firm can help you with all family law matters, including divorce, custody, and child support. We can also help with criminal law such as traffic offenses, DWIs, and more. Call me at the Teague Law Firm at 479-877-1688. That's 479-877-1688. Visit us online at teague-law.com.
Teague Law Firm. If they can't help you, they'll talk football.
Hey River Valley, this is Caleb DeWitt with Carco Auto Sales. As many of you know, parts of Fort Smith and Van Buren were recently affected by a hailstorm, and our lot was no exception. Our inventory may have received minor hail damage, but with that comes major discounts. Choose from late model cars, trucks, vans, and SUVs, all with thousands off the original price tag. Make the short drive to 2810 Midland Boulevard in Fort Smith or visit us online at www.buyfromcarco.com.
Your home for every Razorback football, basketball, and baseball game. ESPN 95.3.
Hey, Surrey!
Make sure to follow Halftime on Twitter at HitThatLineAR and on Facebook and Instagram at HitThatLine. Call or text ESPN Arkansas on the McClarty Daniel Hotline, 877-377-6963. Now back to Halftime with Phil Elson and Matt Jones.
Getting a look at some headlines here around college football and then some other stuff. Did not realize Philip Fulmer had surgery recently, but he is recovering and is in good spirits. Former national champion, who, of course, was also an athletic director. Things kind of went a little bit south with him as the AD, Jeremy Pruitt. Hello. But he is alert and in good spirits, according to his family. They did not specify the nature of the surgery or Fulmer's health issues, but did say he'll remain in the hospital for a few days. What else do we have? Ross Bjork, A&M's athletics director. Well, this isn't the dreaded vote of confidence, but he does say no hot seat for Jimbo Fisher. You really think you're going to get an answer from an athletics director about a hot seat right now before the season starts? Especially when, $77 million is what he would be owed on the buyout if he were let go after the season. Would be your answer right there. I do not see them spending that money to get rid of him. But yet the questions will keep coming if they have a bad year.
It'd be, they open against New Mexico, and then they go at Miami, and Miami hasn't been the strongest. They should be favored. Monroe, that Auburn game could be kind of a test to see if Auburn's back, to see if A&M where they're at, and then of course after that it's the Southwest Shootout. Wouldn't that be something if the Hogs were able to beat A&M this year?
A&M will be 4-0 going into that game. I don't know what Arkansas's record will be. 3-1 is a definite possibility going into the Southwest Classic. And then maybe that's if you beat A&M, even if you lost to LSU on the road, a win over A&M, I think that means you're on the way to a nice season.
And then
potentially 10 wins. Potentially there's a path to it there. Lose to A&M, I think 9 wins is about as good as you'll get.
Yeah,
and maybe looking at 8 at that point with a loss to A&M.
You look at A&M after that Arkansas game. They go home against Bama, then they go at Tennessee, home against South Carolina. We'll know by this time if South Carolina's a top 25 team or not, and then at Ole Miss. So A&M has a little 4-game stretch right there, just like the Hogs do. That'll be pretty tough and be very telling about how their season's going to be.
Mets have announced that they're going to retire numbers 16 and 18 next year, worn by Doc Gooden and Darryl Strawberry. That will have been, 2024. They last won the World Series in '86. Of course, Strawberry and Gooden were part of that team. It's going to be one of those things. These guys had really, really good, potentially great major league careers, but they should have been Hall of Famers.
Neither one of them are in the Hall of Fame.
Never going to be.
Yeah.
Never going to be. They had good, like I said, good careers. Maybe then the Hall of Very Good. But talent-wise, they both had Hall of Fame stuff and probably should have been. But that'll be one of those deals. And the Mets even said to Cohen, the owner, said about next year, it's not a rebuilding year, but they're targeting 2025. So now they're getting into nostalgia. When teams love to get into nostalgia when they don't have much else to sell. Like the Pirates signing Andrew McCutchen this year, that kind of thing. So
like
that's what the Mets are going to be looking for.
The Saints going and getting Jimmy Graham, guy that is.
Well, and that took a different turn over the weekend.
I hope he's okay.
I think he's back at practice now.
Okay. Concussions, you play 18 years, 16 years, however long he's been playing, you're going to have a lot of concussions.
We get a text in from the 479. How many people are absolutely frightened out of their underwear that Bobby Petrino is the offensive coordinator?
Hey, we beat A&M.
I get it.
That I think that could be. I mean, I don't want to get too ahead of myself, but you go to LSU, you don't know what happens there, but you're able to beat A&M. I mean, that'd be Coach Pittman's biggest win. I mean, I'd have to say. I mean, that'd be pretty big right there.
This is I don't know where. Oh, it's Larry that's texted this in from Lavaca. I don't blame you for feeling that way, and I think they have the talent on both sides of the ball, Aggies.
You got to limit their possessions. It's like what we talk about. Whenever you're going to go play A&M, how many times do you want Petrino and his offensive unit to be out there? As little as possible. You got to run the ball. You got to get them off the field on third down. You give Bobby Petrino 12, 14, 15 possessions in a game, he's going to hang 50 on you.
And I guess by then, they'll probably have the good feelings being 4-0. There won't be any kind of a, Jimbo versus Bobby thing, though I don't know if that's going to happen either. It's like I brought up yesterday. Remember when Bobby Petrino in a preseason presser a few weeks ago said, coach is a ball coach. When I hear a coach refer to another coach as a ball, you don't throw the word ball in front of coach unless you're either making you're either making fun of him or it's the utmost respect, and I don't think Petrino is making fun of his boss.
Are you talking about Steve Spurrier, the old ball coach?
The old
That's right.
ball coach.
Yeah, that's like the old cold beer. It's your old ball coach.
That's exactly right. And Larry says A&M is a loss. Maybe it is. And as of now, when I went through the season, I put that down as an L. But I think it'll be a close game. And I still think it's a potential win, just based on the tightness of that series over the years. Hey, if you're fishing for cold water bass on Beaver Lake or Table Rock, you might be looking for a trophy brown on the Mighty White. You probably have the Smithwick Original Suspending Rattling Rogue in your tackle box, and if you don't, get it at LearnNet.com and tackle stores anywhere. The Smithwick Original Suspending Rattling Rogue has the famous rolling action. You'll fish it slow or fast in heavy current, and this Rogue suspends, so it's going to stay in that strike zone longer, and you'll catch more fish. It's the Smithwick Original Suspending Rattling Rogue, made by our friends at Pradco Fishing Lures. And we're back to wrap up halftime after this break.
Colorworks Paint and Body in Barling offers professional automotive painting, bodywork, and fabrication that is unsurpassed in talent and dedication. Owner Andy Harrod uses the latest in collision repair technology to ensure all damage is addressed, whether it's visible or hidden, and works with all insurance companies. Andy and his crew have the experience and commitment to give you complete trust in the repair of your vehicle, no matter the size of the job. Colorworks is located at 1206 Fort Street in Barling, across from Dollar General, and is on Facebook, where you can check out their work.
Hey, Hog fans, are you game ready? When you want to show your Hog pride, Alumni Hall is your ultimate shopping experience. The best and largest selection of apparel for the whole family. Nike Golf, Champion, Columbia, plus gifts, accessories, and all your tailgating necessities. Arkansas students, faculty, and military receive 10% off in-store, and you can earn cash back with Hall Pass rewards. Alumni Hall, located at North College Avenue, or anytime at alumnihall.com. Check out their latest awesome giveaways on social and alumnihall.com. Alumni Hall, where Razorback fans shop.
Shop Metters Lumber, true value for great bargains of the month. Get great deals this month on a variety of top-of-the-line products like 1 quart of synthetic blend Pennzoil motor oil for just $5.99. Pick up a new gas, kerosene, or diesel can by Scepter Smart Control for only $22.99. Make sure to switch out your air filter this season and grab an Allergen Defense air filter by Filtrete for $10.99. Check out the Smarter Hooks utility hook and hanger for just $3.99. DeWalt's 29-piece screwdriver bit set is just $16.99. Get these bargains of the month while supplies last. Metters Lumber, true value.
This is Ty Richardson. When I think of rich history and tradition in Fort Smith, I think of Papa's Pub and Pizzeria. Papa's Pub and Pizzeria has won the best pizza and bar in Fort Smith the past 25 straight years. So if you want to experience legendary pizza, awesome drinks, and memories for a lifetime, swing by Papa's, 508 Garrison Avenue in downtown Fort Smith. Papa's Pub and Pizzeria, the best darn pizza in Fort Smith, perhaps the world.
Frank Rowe Furniture is your family-owned furniture, appliance, and electronics store. We have been servicing the area for 38 years with quality products and service after the sale. Frank Rowe Furniture offers a no-pressure sales atmosphere where you can actually enjoy shopping for your furniture. We also offer in-store, no-credit check financing. Don't wait weeks to be able to take your furniture you purchase home. Stop by and we will load you up today. Family-owned, service after the sale, and no-credit check financing. Frank Rowe Furniture, 405 4th Street, Barling, Arkansas. Best seats in the house.
Are you needing new tires? Are you short on cash? Van Alma Tire can help you get back on the road. Come by Van Alma Tire and apply for caffeine. It only takes minutes to get approved, and you can get the tire or the service you need to get your vehicle back on the road. Top-of-the-line tires, brake service, and more. Van Alma Tire is here to help you. Located on Highway 64 between Van Buren and Alma. Must be 18 or older. Valid ID. Active checking account and income at least $1,000 per month.
Why do people love Shamrock Liquor Warehouse? Simple. They've got it all. 70 years in business, 15,000 square feet of choices. They buy in volume so you can save. What else? How about the largest selection of everything? Shamrock's got it. Special orders? Shamrock's got it. Convenient drive-through, open 6 days a week? Shamrock's got it. Need a keg for your party? Shamrock's got it. Load up at Shamrock Liquor Warehouse at the corner of Midland and Riverfront Drive in Fort Smith.
Tired of constant computer issues at work? And who knows what the real problem is? Is it the router? No, it's the hardware. Wait, they said it was the software. Call Hashtag Managed IT Services. Their multifaceted approach to IT support guarantees that everything is working at optimum performance. And Hashtag prevents the small problems from becoming big issues. Hashtag Managed IT Services in Van Buren. 479-802-4978. That's 479-802-4978. Hashtag technology without the headache.
Your home for every Razorback football, basketball, and baseball game. ESPN 95.3.
Welcome back to Halftime with Phil Elson and Matt Jones. Got a question or comment for the guys? Call or text on the McClarty Daniel hotline, 877-377-6963. Let's get back to the show with the voice of Arkansas Razorback baseball, Phil Elson, and Razorback football legend Matt Jones.
Well, if you missed our talk with Gino Bell, our talk with Bob Holt, we'll have that on the Eastside Liquor Halftime podcast. Christian's got that coming out once the show concludes. Ruskin and Zach are ready to take you from 2 until 7 o'clock, and we'll do it all over again tomorrow. Also a reminder that you have voted Roller Funeral Homes Best of the Best 23 straight years in the Democrat Gazette readership poll. You'll always go to rollerfuneralhomes.com for info on life insurance policies, prepaid funerals, and cemetery markers. And, of course, at Roller Funeral Homes, you will receive all their respect. NFL preseason resumes tonight. Steelers and Falcons, 6:30 on the NFL Network, have a Prime Video Thursday night telecast, the Colts and the Eagles. You think Al Michaels is going to be all fired up after he took the criticism from last week of just being sort of blah, 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 and he's like, what do you want me to do?
It's the preseason. I really, you're looking at the Colts and that Jonathan Taylor situation, number 28 there, their running back. He's a stud, absolute stud.
Well, they gave him, a week to work out a trade for a running back? Good luck.
Irsay's probably not the guy that, you wouldn't trust him as far as you could throw him.
But if there's one guy that I wouldn't want to play for in the NFL, it might be him.
Yeah, I think so. He's a little different type of cat. But he that dude needs to be able to play. We want to see him play. The Colts aren't going to be very good this year. Anthony Richardson's not going to be that good this year. The Colts are going to be pretty. I mean, if they win 5, I don't know what their over-under is. They're not going to win 5 games this year. They're not beating Jacksonville. Are they going to beat Tennessee? I don't know. Are they going to beat Houston Texans? You looking at their division, they got an uphill battle all year.
Yeah, it's going to be interesting watching Richardson run the offense there.
It'll
really
be
interesting.
It'll have its moments and its times, but I don't think it's going to look that pretty.
Might lead the league in turnovers this year.
Yeah, it's going to be bad. They could be the Oakland Athletics of the NFL this year.
Great stuff today, guys. Nice Thursday, and we'll join you tomorrow for a week-ending edition of Halftime, which, of course, will include our favorite hour of the week, the Golden Hour. Now, stay tuned for Ruskin and Zach. For Matt Jones and Christian Johnston, I'm Phil Elson. Get up, get out, get better.